Hello. Jump scare. Slightly. What's this? Oh, it's just my surface enhancement mod for Dark Souls 2. The name of the stream is stupid. Scholar of the Parallaxed Sin. Stupid name. Really, it's just the surface enhancement mod that adds a crap ton of parallax occlusion mapping to Dark Souls 2, which I've made some videos about in the last week or so. 2 weeks, maybe? Really, I just wanted to play Dark Souls 2. If I'm honest with myself, that's really just what I wanted to do. I just wanted to play Dark Souls 2. Because I am hooked. Well, I've been hooked for, years, but silly names are the best names. I would agree. I had to come up with some stupid ass name for a stream. And I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. It'll be, maybe I'll just call it the real DS2. People keep saying Death Stranding 2 is the real DS2, and I'm like, nah. Also, the name of my channel is incredibly silly, so, it all checks out. I figured I'd just make a new save. Fuck it. The rate at which you work on mods for all these games simultaneously is mind-blowing. Yeah, I know life it real hard. It's crazy. That's all I do. I've turned it into just, that's all I do for like 12 hours a day or more. It's really fun. But yeah, I can see from the outside, people are like, dude, y'all gotta like chill. I'm like, nah, I'm hanging out. What do I have the player lantern set to? Okay, maybe I'll turn off the player lantern completely, so that way I'm forced to use a torch. That's the idea. How's everyone doing? More people will join, so Oh, Alex Demi-Human just subscribed. I don't know what that subscription is. I imagine it's on YouTube. I appreciate you, big dog. Also, everyone is a big dog. Actually, let me test real quick. I've been noticing it's kind of unfortunate that whenever you disable the light map shadows, you get some artifacting that I don't like how the light is on the side of these. I can't think yet. I'm on my second cup of coffee, but I still cannot think apparently. Yeah, it's unfortunate that. Yoink. Of course, it is revealing a part of the area here that actually... Ooh, actually, look at this. I did not have this set to be shadow casting. Although this has been happening, where I don't think it's completely saving my changes, but... yeah, look at that shadow. Oh, that's a little better. Really? Not that one either? Okay, well now you're just not changing. You're not saving my changes. Dark Souls 2 lighting engine. You're killing me. I have no doubt that I set these to be shadowcast. I may have fucked up. Who knows? Yeah, Dark Souls 2 lighting engine's really cool. How you can just like pop in here and go, hey, I'd like to set some stuff to be shadowcasting. That sounds sick nasty. And you can just do it. It's pretty cool. And you get to see it like happen in front of your face. Oh, okay, so that's how that disables. Okay, that looks better. That looks better. Oh, wait, hey, there's no way that I didn't set this to be shadow casting. Okay. DS2 lighting engine, you're killing me. You're killing me, guy. Fucking hell. Also, you can tell that's low resolution. Oof. Alright, anyway. We're not going to be too busy doing that, because that's not fun to watch. Just click, 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 click. DS2 LE needs a cup of coffee. That's what I'm saying. What do you... You're drunk, DS2 LE. There's no doubt I've set this to be shadow casting. I went through every area, but whatever. Such is life. Yeah, let's make sure I have all my settings correctly. Correctly set. Is that how settings work? Yes. Shading and performance. High. Oh, I turned off screen space shadows? Oh. Fuck, okay. I don't remember that, but I'll allow it. Image sharpening. Yes, I do have that on. Nice, nice. And then you can go into the lighting preset, and they added the screen space global illumination. It doesn't work, I think, amazingly well. It's pretty subtle. You can see it kind of on the shadowed regions here, whereas you crank it up, it'll have some like light bounce, but it's pretty conservative overall. I have been cranking it up to around 6 from the default 1. Why DS2 have the hardest mods ever? I gotta assume that means hardest as best, for sure. As if somebody were hard, as in cool. Dark Souls 2 is also just very hard in general, because of how delayed the attacks are. Although I will say, I have the player enhancements mod from Yozora installed, so I do get better combat. It doesn't feel like super unbalanced or anything. It just means I can drink my Estus while walking, and combat is like a little snappier, just a bit. I highly recommend playing with that, as it kind of makes the DS2 experience, I think, a little bit more enjoyable. As I obviously love DS2 even in its base form with no mods. I do, but I've played it for like 800 hours now, and yeah, the combat is probably my least favorite part of it. I much prefer like Dark Souls 1 combat. Dark Souls 3, I think, obviously is the snappiest, but I think it's a bit roll sloppy, you know? Also in this mod, you get to have the Faram set right off the bat, which is probably the biggest reason. How dare they limit that to Drangleic Castle? Like, what are we doing? Oh shit, I should probably open up the Twitch chat, because I don't know if it's actually working or not. No, maybe not. Okay. I had to double check that. 1,600 hours here. Woo! Nice. That's me with Dark Souls 1. Gift. Inedible. I mean, I guess life ring. I feel like the starting items are kind of lame, but they seemingly always are in Dark Souls games. There's never like a really good uh, starting item. Okay, I don't like the hairstyles in Dark Souls 2 either. It's not great. Let's be receding hair guy. I'm okay with that. Oh, also let's make it gray hair. I'm having gray hair coming in, by the way, guys. I'm 33 years old and I'm having gray hair coming in. It's wild. I'm gonna be a silver fox in like 2 months. Is that what they call them? Oh shit! I better message Trivia. I better message Trivia and be like, hey, I'm streaming. She always messages me to say, hey, are you gonna stream today? You gonna? Yeah, I know. I'm reaching. I'm streaming. You know, watch it. Okay. She'd be pissed at me if I didn't message her. I'm 16. I only have one gray hair and one gray mustache. Damn. At 16? Okay. I respect it. I'm actually looking forward to it, frankly. I've been one of those weird people that, as I've gotten older, well, actually, not as I've gotten older, just in general, I've always looked forward to getting older. I was never the type that was like, I hope high school lasts forever. No, I was like, no, I'd like to be older. I'd like to have responsibilities. I'd like to have a car. I'd like to do things. I don't want to be a kid. This sucks ass. So I was a little different. As for build, that's a great question. Maybe I should go for something different than I usually do, because I always do the same builds. Why don't I just make a sorcerer? I've never done magic. New mod? It's the mod I've made a few videos on. Called the surface enhancement mod. It's really boring sounding, but it's just a shitload of parallax occlusion mapping, and I'm re-upscaling the entire game's textures again, for like the fourth or fifth time. But this is the best version of it. Currently, the mod is at 5 gigabytes in size. You can blame the Shulva DLC for about 1 gigabyte of that, because the textures are higher resolution to start with. Okay. Knowledgeable sorcerer. Okay, which one should I do? Should I do the cleric or sorcerer? What are we feeling? Or should I do pyromancy? That would be the question. I'm 33 and I have a receded hairline with salt and pepper. Hey, fellow 33-year-old. Sounds boring, but it revolutionizes how the game looks. Yeah, I think it's probably not noticeable by most people, but I think it's pretty cool looking. And it's all like DS2 lighting engine is the only way that this is like doable. So, so like shout out to that. Try not to upscale video game textures. Yeah, I am unfortunately locked into doing that. Oh, is Bloodborne playable on PC? Oh yeah, it's been playable on PC for a few months, I'd say. Depends if you're a loot goblin. Okay. What's up, Ryuminari? I think I said that right. Bandit is good. Yeah, that's true. I've started as a bandit. Should I do hexes? Is that fun? Because I know hexes didn't come back in DS3. So that was like a unique spell type. I gotta say, I do. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm gonna be an old cleric. I like his robe. That was the defining thing. Oh my god, this game looks so good. Look at this game, chat. Look at this game. Looks so good. Yeah, what's up here? I forgot. You have to own Bloodborne. Yes. Yes, you must own it. You must dump your copy from your modded PS4. Can you play on cracked? We do not talk about the piracy. Dark Souls 3 be like removes everything good from Dark Souls 2. Admittedly, I mean, okay, so I will say from that angle, Dark Souls 3 does keep the Estus upgrade system. That's the same. You keep warping from the beginning, so that's DS2. They did get rid of life gems. They did get rid of power stancing. Sony by FromSoft first announcements. We are remaking DS2. Yeah, yeah. It does seem like the buyout's probably going to happen, which I am not happy with. But also, such is life. I still don't think. I don't think Sony's going to be dumb enough to actually make their stuff like exclusive. I don't see that actually happening. When this mod release, it's already released. I've updated it like 4 times or something, so it's on Nexus mods. Are you going Dex? I don't think so. I'd like to go Magic for once. I've never played a Magic character, so I feel like I should probably do that. Oh yeah, that's true. New Game Plus actually being a real mode. Yeah, that's pretty much only Dark Souls 2. They've basically never done that again. BIOS to defend from a hostile takeover. I have heard of that. Yeah, which I guess I totally understand from Katakawa's standpoint, that they would prefer to be owned by a Japanese company than not a Japanese company. So, like, for me, that does make total sense. That checks out. Ooh, I actually still do good damage despite not having the right stats for one-handing this weapon. Would you look at that? I hate the mace's moveset, though. I think it's the dumbest way to swing a mace. Are they really remastering DS3? I don't know. I personally don't think it needs it, but I also wouldn't say no to it. Like, obviously it does. It needs certain things, or well, I wouldn't say needs, but it could use better textures. It could use actual anti-aliasing, because by default it doesn't really have any, and if anything, it makes it worse. That's an easy one. Better mesh LODs, a lot of dynamic shadows, or just better baked shadows, frankly. Shadow casting from the torch, all things that modders have done, but an official release would be fantastic. So, ooh, that shit looks weird in the distance. What the fuck is going on there? I guess for this, I'll just turn on the disable overrides on most things, just to make things easier. That seems better. Yoink. Let's just do that. DS3 is also very washed out. It is, but it's admittedly like intentionally washed out. So I don't think they have to change that because it was intentionally very washed out. But, you know, obviously the world was dying and it's been through a bajillion cycles, and like I totally get why it was washed out. Now I do think a good option would be different filters that players could apply in the menu. I think that's a solid option, to where you could play a more contrasty version of it if you want without having to like download mods or reshade. Elton Vala, thank you for the follow. I know in YouTube we're getting real close to 25,000. Well, I wouldn't say like super close, but we're in the 24,000s, so that's already incomprehensible. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff they could do to Dark Souls 3. I don't agree with anyone that goes, "Oh, there's absolutely nothing that they could touch," and I'm like, no, there's plenty. There's plenty. Sorry if I backseat. Oh, oh, Fearless. I mean, so I would say Fearless. I've played the game for like 800 hours. You don't have to backseat. I know the game back and forth. It's not to say that I'll ever not make a mistake, but I'm currently one-handing it because I want to use the torch because I want to light the sconces. And the mace, while it is on the X and I don't have the stats for it, it actually is still doing good damage on these people, which I was surprised by. I expected, but I know their health is really low. But I'm using it because I'm a sicko who likes to light all the sconces. By the way, dodging isn't like DS1. Oh, yeah, I would say no one has to like backseat or anything. I've played DS2 for like a bajillion hours, so I think you can safely assume anything I do is on purpose. Um, just generally, not to say I won't ever make a mistake. Like, yeah, but then again, I also don't care. I'm just fucking around, really. I've started a DS2 character like a bajillion times, so I am aware. If anyone is aware of the changes between DS2 and DS1, I think I'd be on that list. But yeah, all right. I don't need my torch anymore. Ooh, God, yeah. The lighting transition here is rough. No point of a torch when you can set your brightness to max. Oh, I disagree. I disagree. I would never do that because I love the torch. I love the torch mechanic. I know not everyone does, but they're just wrong. No, joking, of course. I love the torch. I will upgrade my mace stat. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the mace probably right now. Because fuck that mace. Give me a dagger. That's just lazy. I like the torch system. I don't know. I find it really satisfying. But also, look at the medulla. It's gorgeous. I did make some tweaks to the preset, so I tried to mirror the original look as best as possible. What's up, Coffee Jesus? That's a fantastic name. I did Sir Alon for the first time this week, and it just shows how bad the hitboxes are broken in this game. Yeah, I mean, I would admit the hitboxes are not ideal in every FromSoft game, to be fair. Now, when it comes to his actual, like, stabbing, yeah, that one's a little sticky, where you can be, like, to the right of him, and it'll just, like, suck it into his sword. It's not perfect, but to be fair, if you view the hitboxes on all the way up to Elden Ring, like, even then, they're still not perfect, so I don't know. Do you have dynamic lights on? I do. I've also disabled most of the baked lighting, but it's not really about that. If anything, it's the parallax among all others. Former Souls podcaster. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you very much for your hard work on my favorite game ever. I respect that. Yes, I love Dark Souls 2 so much. I wonder how DS2 would have turned out. Yeah, so that's definitely a thought exercise I do quite often, where I do wonder, had they just stuck with the Dark Souls 1 engine and not tried to kind of go their own way and make a bunch of new stuff, which did end up, of course, being moved on into Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and all that, but yeah, I do wonder, had they not spent all the time and effort and then only to essentially have to undo a lot of it before launch. And because they were squeezing it on PS3 and 360, it came out in 2014, so obviously the PS4 came out in 2014. You had the Xbox One that came out in 2013, so had they waited and had it be an exclusive to the new consoles, but then it would have sold a lot worse. So, like, yeah. I don't know. I think about that a lot. But I would say on the flip side, I love the game that we got. Like, I love this game. It's honestly the one I like spending time in the most. That's been solidified over the last, like, month. I just love being in the world. It feels so different from 1 or 3. And I think 1 feels different from 3 as well. So it's not to say that those are, like, identical, because they're not. I don't really agree with that. But it feels like completely its own thing, which is, frankly, its strength, honestly. I think they had the balls to go, you know what? Let's do a bunch of stuff differently. Some worked and some didn't, to be honest with you. I think some worked really well. Some things, ADP, yeah, I don't know about that. I think the weapon durability was a little overzealous, but, you know, overall, I just absolutely adore this game. Hey, where'd my lady go? Oh, there she is. Okay, I don't know why I couldn't see her there for a second. The fucking grass that's sitting here. Yeah, Majula is definitely, I think, the best hub. Yeah, I guess I've never had a huge problem with the movement. I don't know. I've been okay with it. You may level up by the power of the Emerald Herald. I'd agree. You ever going to play Elder Scrolls Oblivion? Oh, I've already played Oblivion. I've played Skyrim, Morrowind. I was an Elder Scrolls sicko before I was a Dark Souls sicko. I don't really play them anymore, but oh yeah, I played it on release on 360. Absolutely. I was playing Morrowind on the goddamn original Xbox. So, I'm an OG. Are you using mods? I am. There's Dark Souls 2 lighting engine as the base, and then on top of that is my surface enhancement mod, which upscales the textures and enables parallax occlusion mapping on many more surfaces than DS2 lighting engine by default did. Well, jankier. The graphics look janky. Okay. I just beat as my first Souls game. Oh, hell yeah. Coming from Elden Ring, which is Dark Souls 2 2. Just realized I'm 2 minutes behind live. Ooh, uh-oh. Hype for Oblivion remake. Yeah. Oh, Stade is in the development team for the... Oh, really? Interesting. Wait, is that... Which one's that? Which one is that called? Sky Oblivion? Is that it? More dog water than DS1 graphics. And... What? What are you talking about? Yeah, Stade's a homie. We like Stade. Yeah, Sky Oblivion. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the Skywind looks cool as well. It's crazy that Skyrim was released in like 2011, and they're still working on bringing those games to the Skyrim version of the engine, at least. Very cool though. I loved Morrowind. I haven't been able to go back, so I've been waiting for the Skywind project to go public, and then I'll play it that way, because I really love Morrowind. That's my favorite out of the 3 that I've played. I love Morrowind. I think it was the most... there's a lot of Morrowind that lives on in my love of Dark Souls, because it was very unforgiving, and you had to read the map and to understand where to go, and a lot of that was stripped out in the future, like Oblivion and Skyrim. They undid a lot of that. Alright, I got my dagger, and I have life gems, so I'm feeling pretty good. You Inwa? Absolutely. Yeah, Cliff Racers, Dagoth like Morrowind is definitely my favorite. I think it's hard to play now, but I ask a question about the collector. Is that the fella the Rat Covenant speaks of pertaining to one human they got along with? That's a good question. I don't know, actually. When I think of the collector, I technically think of Marvel. Somewhat unfortunately. But God damn it, yeah. Yeah, definitely the full dynamic lighting mod. I think that, that one, the game is just not set up to be fully dynamic, so I'm easing on that a little bit. More focused on the parallax and textures. Ooh, thank you for the follow, Moth. Alright, I'm gonna dagger this son of a bitch. Just you watch. Check this out, chat. Wow, my rolls are pretty sick. I think I have like the lightest equip load here. Oh, ooh, ow. Ooh, he actually does less damage than I thought. So which boss do you like the most from DS2? See, I have to separate it from DLC and the base game, because the DLC is so vastly beyond like the base game of DS2 in terms of boss quality. So I do tend to separate those. Hey, what's up, big dog? How you doing? Yoink. Hey, sit your fat ass down. Thank you. As far as base game, I think favorite boss. I actually really enjoy the Pursuer fight. It's kind of like this dance. His moveset's pretty simplistic, but I've always really enjoyed the look of Pursuer. And he's floating, and it's fucking weird, man. And I love how he just follows you, That's so cool. It's a shame Vanilla didn't have that, so that was actually a cool addition in Scholar. I know some people disagree that, or think he's annoying, but I've always thought he was fun when he pops up at the worst time or whatever. I think Smelter Demon's the actual best quality boss in the base game, because it's Smelter Demon. He's fast, he's slow, he has variations on his moves, he hesitates, he input it's weird how Smelter Demon is just better than all the other bosses in terms of difficulty. And the boss right after Smelter Demon is like a huge step down. It's kind of weird. I don't know, I've never understood that, why Smelter Demon was so good, and then the rest of the bosses I think are pretty weak. Now the DLC massively improves the bosses. They're so good. Yeah, Velstat's pretty good, that's true. I think my problem with Velstat is I overall still found him to be a pushover in terms of his moveset. He just, I don't know, he still wasn't that difficult. I think in terms of aesthetics and lore and all of that, I think Velstat's fucking awesome. And I still think that the subversion of expectations of finding Vendrick as this sort of broken hollow, like I still think that's like the coolest shit of all time. Yeah, okay, so Looking Glass Knight is another one where I think aesthetically, and I think lore, and I think 10 out of 10, right? Like, fucking amazing looking, and that's why they used that for the media before the game came out. They let them play that boss fight because it looks fucking insane. But unfortunately, I once again found him to be mostly a pushover. Like, that's kind of my big problem with the base game DS2 is it just was kind of like, yeah, it's the areas that are going to kill you, not really the bosses. I never let it detract from my enjoyment of the game, though, that much, because I just love the world and I love the lore, and it was okay that the bosses were pretty easy. The DLC fixed that, and the DLC was like, we're going to absolutely demolish you into the ground. And I loved it. You have some of the best bosses, I think, of all time, you know? Big question from the DS1 community. When you saw Guinevere, did you wish you could smash her? No, I mean, obviously she's hot, so I think she's kind of big, so like I think logistically it's difficult, but and also she's an illusion, but you know, I think she is actually that big. Quick hi in Twitch and back to work. Oh hell yeah! Thank you for the follow. I got to get a good posture. I'm always bad about this. One last hell yeah for Parallax. Yeah, Parallax is sick. We love that. All the homies love Parallax. I'm going to make it to the next bonfire, and then I'll level up. Yeah, Sin, Ivory King, Fume Knight for sure. Yeah, Sir Alon I'd put on that list. She'd literally smash you. I mean, yeah, I think she would probably sit on me and kill me, but I'd go out doing what I love, you know. Whoop. Oh yeah, I got like sick rolling with this guy, because I have like really light equip load at this moment. Yeah, Fume Knight's pretty sick. Fume Knight was probably my most difficult out of the batch there. I think Ivory King, I don't like having to fight all the little guys, but I also think it's insanely epic, and then you get to recruit your own dudes, and like, I think that is just awesome. Do you plan on any game development? Yeah, I would like to eventually settle into learning a specific game engine. Obviously, I've toyed around with Unreal in the past. It's probably the best one to toy around with in terms of like industry acceptance and the amount of documentation for it. Obviously, Unreal is the best for that. Could you kill any boss or enemy from Dark Souls 1? Oh, IRL. Pinwheel. I would absolutely demolish Pinwheel. There's no problem with that. Yeah, Godot is admittedly one I've been keeping my eye on. That it looks really cool. I think Unreal is still your best bet for, like, if you ever want to get a job in the industry, having Unreal experience is obviously a logical thing to do. Yeah, if you want an industry job, like, Unreal is just the logical choice. It is. Like, I wish that there were more engines. And we always had a great diversity of engines, and I wish that Unreal wasn't taking over the world, but to be fair, it's been like that for a while, where like, even with Unreal 3, back with like Mass Effect and Gears of War, and like, Unreal has always been, in, you know, the modern times, the most popular like third-party engine for quite a while, so that's not new. I do think it's consolidating even more, though, currently. Like Halo is moving to Unreal, CD Projekt Red is moving to Unreal, and I get it. It's difficult to keep your own tool set and develop games at the same time, so why not offload that to someone else to handle the engine work, and then you can make the game. So like, I get it. I totally get it. I think maybe the best AAA engine out there that isn't Unreal is probably id Tech. Yeah. Oh, I mean, id Tech is fucking fantastic. If I were Microsoft, I would be like, you own id Software. Like, now, I think Microsoft's actually been pretty smart in that they didn't do what EA did, where EA was like, hey, we own the Frostbite engine, so every one of our studios now needs to make games with Frostbite because it's cheaper, because we don't have to license it. But Frostbite was not meant to be used for a shitload of games. It was literally only meant for shooters because that's what it was used to make all the Battlefield games. So they never set up any tools for other types of games. Basically had to crawl over broken glass to make Inquisition and Andromeda and Anthem. And Dragon Age Veilguard is also on Frostbite. But the next Mass Effect game is on Unreal, which of course harkens back to the original trilogy being on Unreal. Yeah, I don't really begrudge anybody by using Unreal because you can obviously do it incredibly well. It's a tool set. It can be as shitty as you want. That's why I don't like anyone who's like, oh my god, FromSoft needs to use Unreal. No, they don't. No, they absolutely do not. If they switch to Unreal, you ain't seeing their next game for a long time. Good luck with that. They have to learn Unreal. Now, of course, they probably already have some developers on their team that have Unreal experience, right? But there'll be people on their team that maybe don't. And obviously the workflow. Yeah, workflow is different. And it's not as if it's going to be magically optimized out of the box. That's not how Unreal works. That's not how any engine works. So, yeah, exactly. Like, I would also counter with the current tech that FromSoft's been using, they've been able to make games at an incredible pace, faster than any other studio, arguably, and have a higher quality bar than many studios, and have incredible success in some of the most beautiful games ever made. So, like, for me, I'm like, yeah, I don't think your case makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the dagger is definitely fucking wrecked. Okay. You know what? I'll beat you with a fucking mace that I can't even use properly, because it still does good damage, for whatever reason. I'm ignoring the stat requirements. Yeah, I mean, Unreal 5, I think the way that it's being used currently has not been great. I think they've been very CPU heavy, and obviously with Lumen and all that, and you can do the software version, but not to mention we're still getting shitty Unreal 4 games. Like Jedi Survivor, Jesus Christ. That was a fucking wreck on launch, and it's still even not like perfect today. But then you have examples like Lies of P that uses Unreal Engine 4 to fantastic usage. And it looks great. So, it depends on how you use it. Are you ever going to play Dragon's Dogma 2? I tried. I think I played like 10 hours of Dragon's Dogma 2. And it was fine. I admit, and it's the problem I had with the first game, where I feel just very aimless in that game. The story isn't very interesting. I think the writing is pretty because it's obviously not like Dark Souls, where it's obviously, you read the item descriptions and the lore isn't like told to you very directly. So if the storytelling's shitty, it's not that big of a deal. But in Dragon's Dogma 2, it's kind of in your face, and like there's obviously NPCs that you have conversations with, but I didn't find it very interesting. Also, the enemy variety, I swear to God, I played like 10 hours. I saw like 3 different enemies. And this was a problem in the first game. So I'm a little surprised that like they didn't improve the enemy variety that much, because it honestly, after I had the first handful of big battles between like an ogre and some cool shit, I was like, okay, I'm still fighting the same guys. Like, are we going to update this? And maybe it got like a lot cooler later. But I admit I was a little disappointed by it. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of felt like they were just remaking the first game, which I think is fine. But yeah, I found it a little, kind of iffy. I'll probably go back to it. It also runs better now, as per usual. It does seem like the RE engine, not a big fan of doing open world. Good luck on your stream. Love your content. Thank you. Thank you, big old para donkey. Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah, shader compilation is something that doesn't have to be an issue. There are many methods in Unreal for mitigating that. But it still seemingly is a problem for... not only that, even if you fix that in Unreal, you still have like traversal stutter. And that's what I would say about any engine, is it is a tool set. And it is all dependent on how you use it. I would say look at IdTech. IdTech is fantastic. Like, they literally build that engine for efficiency and 60 FPS from the jump. Does the parallax affect FPS? Yeah, I mean, it definitely is more intensive than not using it, but at this point, most modern GPUs don't really have a big problem. Whoa! Thank you, Sin Nuggies. All the homies like Sin Nuggies, by the way. Let's see if this works. Can I... oh, no commands found. That's right. I don't have commands set up. So that checks out. Hold on here for a second. TV. I really got to start setting up, like, alerts and things. I've been really bad at that. There you go. There's the Sin Nuggies Twitch channel. They stream, and it's very cool. And they're cooler than me at streaming. Better at streaming in every possible way. Gifted a subscription to Darth Bothersome. You'll love to see it. Can it run Dark Souls 2? Yeah, luckily Parallax is like not hard on modern GPUs, so I don't suspect anyone would terribly notice. I am using it on basically every surface possible. You have a girlfriend yet? Wow, that's out of nowhere. That's out of nowhere. All right, we're just jumping to personal questions. All right. That's crazy. Yeah, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I got 30, or I have 3,070. I mean, Sin Nuggies did sub, and she is a woman, so that starts from there. No, I don't. I I disagree. Just because someone is a woman doesn't mean you can jump to girlfriend question. I don't. That doesn't. Okay. Um, I would hope you don't do that in everybody's chat, where you just pop in there and say, "Hey, how's your love life?" Yeah, so Nuggy's like, "Yeah, okay. Is woman subs to channel? We date now. We married." I don't think that's how that works. I've been in the dating world. That's not how that works. But okay. Hey, how about Leningrass key? Hell yeah. All right. Do I have any pippity poppities? I do. Oh, I never used the shart at the lady. Yeah, okay, we date now. Yes, every mutual that I have, I try to date every single mutual. I hit every single one of them up, 100%. That's that is a pro strat right there. Ugh. Now kiss. So that's the next step. I've been watching the YouTube video showing the progress with Parallax updating. Good stuff. Yeah, those are the fun videos to make. They don't get watched as much, but I don't care. I know that the Bloodborne videos are always going to do like 10 times better. Because that's just... It's Bloodborne. Bloodborne's never going to get usurped. That's how I say usurped, by the way. By any other game. Like, Bloodborne is going to be number one. Which, by the way, we have Game Awards today. Saying, 10th anniversary coming up. You know. 10th anniversary, their 30th anniversary video ended on Bloodborne. Jeff loves Bloodborne. He loves Jeff. Like, come on. This is the moment. I mean, I'm demisexual, so the only people I'm attracted to are the ones that I have an emotional connection with. Yeah, I dig that. You watching solo or in the KF stream? Yeah, that's a good question, Sing Nuggy. So my plan is the KF stream. However, if my brother comes home, I don't know, he might come home to where he doesn't like watching it. If we watch it together, he doesn't really like watching a reaction because he's like, yeah, but now they're talking through all the things. So if he gets home from work in a certain amount of time, we'll just watch it without KF. But then I end up, of course, watching the KF one later because I want to see them lose their shit when Bloodborne Remastered gets announced. I'm ready to get hurt again, chat. I'm ready to get hurt again. How much time is left? I think it's at like... What time is the Game Awards today? You should do a Kingsfield remaster project? Yeah, I think the problem there is like... There's not really any like tools for Kingsfield that much. Like there's the last Kingsfield, I guess, that... on the PS2 emulator, you can kind of upscale textures that way. I guess that's a way. Ads probably started... Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it is around that time. Yeah, they probably have like a pre-show, a pre-show, another pre-show. I found an article that said the teasers that were mentioned were confirmed not Bloodborne. Yeah. Again, like I totally know that it's probably not going to happen, but you know, 10th anniversary, like come on, Sony, we got to do some stuff. Starts in 7 hours. All right. And like if you're gonna do it, I think you're gonna announce it before the 10th anniversary. So I do think if we don't get something at Game Awards, then I hope they just announce something by the 10th anniversary. And if they don't announce anything on the 10th anniversary, hey, thanks for 10 years, fuck off. Like, well, then I do lose hope. And then whatever. Then I just stop having Bloodborneum until it does officially happen. Because it will happen at some point. There's no one's made a good case as to why it would not happen, if that makes sense. Like, it will eventually. It's just when, 15th anniversary, maybe. 4:30 PT. Thank you. Yes, middle of the night over here. Damn. Yeah, it depends on the time zones. I'm lucky that I'm in the central time zone of the United States, so like CST. So it's not too bad. What was I doing? Yes, I was upscaling a texture, which you guys can't see. I guess I forgot to upscale this texture. So let me just do that real quick. Surely 20-year anniversary. Like, that's the thing. It's going to happen sometime. We just don't know when it is, so it's not as much like, oh, will it ever happen? It's like, no, they like money. And this is guaranteed money. So, it's going to happen. It's just, we just don't know when, I think that it's the waiting. But I do take solace in the fact that, like, it will. That, there's no reality where they don't touch it again, because they'd have to just be clinically stupid, which I know people would say, oh, but they are. I don't agree. I think they do what's good for business. And, at some point, it's going to be really good for business. Hell, it's good for business right now. I get the sense, which is based on nothing but vibes, that I think they actually want to go big. I think they want to go Demon's Souls level. And so Demon's Souls was sort of the pilot program, right? Because that's the less popular game out of the two, by far. Most people don't even know it exists, frankly, before the remake. And that remake went well. It was received well. People enjoyed it. And now we're 4 years after that. So, we'll see. You can trust corporations. They're going to do what makes them the most money, and doing something with Bloodborne is just guaranteed money. Like, no one can make a case that a Bloodborne something isn't going to make money for them. Yeah, no shit. It's obviously going to make a shitload of money. So that's the one where I disregard people that are like, oh, it's never going to be touched. I'm like, okay, let's all chill out. Obviously it's going to be touched. They fucking remaster games from like 4 years ago. Yeah, no shit, they're going to remaster Bloodborne at some point. We just don't know when. What's up, Pulu? Oh, okay, so I did. Yeah, texture still looks like ass. Whatever. Okay, Leningrast, I need you to get in your little hovel here, because I want to buy a weapon from you, presumably. Wait, can I put my little thingy on Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. Yeah, I need to level up so I can use a weapon in my right hand without it having a stat problem. Okay, so first let's talk to Leningrast. I want to see his weapons. Buy more daggers? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what weapon to use in my right hand. Bloodborne is a money bet. Yeah, like Bloodborne just is. It's one of the most guaranteed successes. And if any company, the biggest thing a company likes is a guaranteed success, like a guaranteed investment. And there's just no way that a Bloodborne anything would not sell like hotcakes. Like, I just don't think we have any evidence of it not doing well. Like, yeah, it's brain dead. Like, obviously, it's going to be a shitload of sales. Whether it's an exclusive thing and then they do PC later, or if they don't care enough to do an exclusive one, they might just do a PC release and go, yeah, all right, modders, do what you want. That'd be the preferable option for me, frankly. Should I use a rapier? Should I do pokey poke? I've never done that. I think it gets kind of annoying after a while, but... Oh, there's the S-Dock, C and D, or do I go full rapier? That's the question. And there's some titty sharts. We got that. Wait, how low is my dex right now? That's the real question. How far do I have to upgrade? Oh my god, my dex is only 5? Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ. Maybe I should go for a strength weapon. Shit. Yeah, I can't use fucking anything. Ooh. Battle axe underrated. Yeah, I think the move set for the battle axe I don't love. Yeah, remasters of old games, even if they don't do like a remaster, because it would end up being whoever owns the IPs for those. I don't actually know who owns the IP for the AC games. Is that Bandai Namco, or is that FromSoft themselves? Because I know Bandai owns all the Dark Souls games, and then the publishing rights for Sekiro are in Activision, but technically they don't own the IP, they just own the publishing rights for the first one. So if they did make another Sekiro, that could not have to do with Activision. Yeah, I'd be curious if it was like I feel like they had a publisher back then. They haven't self-published yet, but they want to self-publish in the future. Interesting. I think for the older AC games, I think it would just be best if we could put them on modern platforms. Even if you don't like remaster them, I think just, hey, can it be on a modern platform where people can easily play like a collection of the old ones? I think that'd be the ideal situation, specifically with AC6 doing well, by their own account. It did a lot. No one expected Elden Ring numbers out of AC6, but Miyazaki said he considered it a success, so that's good enough for me. Yeah, damn. I want a one hand though. Fuck. Do I just go basic bitch broadsword probably? Yeah. I'll probably go broadsword. It's pretty boring, but I think it works. I mean, emulators do fill that role, but I think they fill it in an imperfect manner because right when you tell someone you need to run something on an emulator, that cuts off like 90% of the people that are going to do it. To be honest, it's not an accessible form for most people. And obviously that cuts out all console players. So, obviously Microsoft is vastly better at backwards compatibility than Sony is. But for AC, it's like, if they put out a collection of that, I think it'd sell pretty well. I had to emulate the latest one. I think it was Verdict Day or something. I think the problem is I was coming from AC6 where the controls felt really good, and going back to the older one, I was like, woof. I am not liking how this controls. This feels bad. Oh my god, this guy starts with no fucking endurance. Are you kidding me? That's insane. Alright. Hey. Oh, actually, let me give you a shard, okay? Fuck, I hit the wrong button again. Upgrade Estus Flask. I plan to use mostly life gems, though. I love life gems. It's all I need in my life is life gems, frankly. I wish I had life gems in real life. That's what I really need. Alright, so we got broadsword and that. I think I'm good. Reinforce. Can't really reinforce yet. Yeah, unfortunately, when I tried Kingsfield 4, I was immediately slapped in the face of how slow it turns. The combat, I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was just getting killed by random enemies because I'm like, well, I don't have a dodge roll. I don't have anything. And I'm moving at 1 inch per second. Less than that. 1 inch per minute. And I just felt like I was going to throw up. The controls are so ungodly. I need to remap, or I think there's a mod that someone says that it allows the thumbsticks to be used or something, because I was like, fuck me, dude. This is brutal. I'm into brutal shit, but I can't control my character. Also, I died in the first 2 seconds of Kingsfield 4. Something on the fucking floor that didn't look like it was lava killed me. and it just blew up, and I went, well, okay. And then I got into town, and I was like, okay. And I went into like catacombs or something, and like the no saving or something. I don't know. There was a lot that I was like, I get this was an older game, so I totally understand it's going to be a little rough, but I know a lot of things came from Kingsfield that are in the Dark Souls series. So I'm just like, dude, this shit is tough, man. This is rough. I want to love this. I want to get past it because there's so many cool things that are in Kingsfield. It's an intentional design choice, but like maybe it was a little too intentional. Because to me, IMO, it felt real bad. It felt like there's no feedback between what's happening. It's like I had taken depressants. Like it, yeah, the instant death trap. I admit I was like, well, I don't even know what happened. What? Yeah, so like I don't know. That one I was a little critical of because I'm like, dude, I don't even know what happened. So it was hard for me to know what to fix, and so I just ended up walking a different direction. But yeah, it is just an older game, and they're less accessible. Um, but yeah, I found it pretty bad to play. Um, but I know everyone has a different tolerance for that, but I found it to feel pretty awful. But that is a big IMO thing. So if someone can play that and not feel that it feels bad, that, oh wow, dude, you popped the fuck off. That was crazy. Um, yeah, I would love a more. Also, the AC games, it's funny. I was watching Vati Vidya do his like retrospective on playing all of them, and he's like, "Yeah, man, it's crazy how they like the DualShock came out for the PlayStation, and FromSoft was like, nah, we're just gonna use the D-pad forever." Um, what are your top three From games? Oof. I mean, Blood. So yeah, I won't do really like which one is one, two, or three, but like if I had to pick three, it's like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2. I think that's an easy, but it's an embarrassment of riches, right? Because my top 10 games of all time are like all FromSoft games. Because I love Sekiro. I adore it. AC6 absolutely has moved into the list. Um, yeah, AC6, man, blew my fucking brain open. I'm in my third playthrough, and I'm getting the true ending, and I'm so excited. I think it was the one thing about the AC series is, man, it was really annoying to see like the toxic old Armored Core fans come out and be like, "Oh, this isn't my Armored Core," and I'm like, man, you're some salty, salty motherfuckers. That you had a great game in your series that people are loving and it's bringing in new players, and they were like, "Yeah, but it's not the Armored Core I like." I'm like, damn, dog, you're a downer. You are a Debbie Downer. I would never do that for a series that I love. I would be happy that new people are playing it. But they were just like, "Oh, I don't like it." I know they were a super minority, but like, fuck me, dude, that was a turnoff. Yeah, those are dorks. I'm like, dog, that's some gatekeeping bullshit. If you truly love a series, you should absolutely not be a little bitch like that and be like, "Oh, they're liking it, but they're not liking the true Armored Core experience." And I'm like, man, that's lame as hell, dog. That's lame as hell. I'm sorry, that's sad. I feel bad for you. That's how you treat the game series that you love above all else. That you would gatekeep people playing the new one. Ugh, that just sucks ass, dog. That's shitty. I'm salty about them being salty about that, which I know sounds stupid, but I've always just thought that was the dumbest way to behave. That's like having a new Dark Souls game come out, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they didn't enjoy the real ones." Or that's like, I've seen the gatekeepers do that for Elden Ring. They're like, "Oh yeah, they only like the really accessible one. I bet they couldn't hash it on the real ones." And I'm like, dog, shut the fuck up. You suck. Boo. Gatekeepers are stupid. If I love a game series, that means I want more people to play it. Okay, I have no ADP. I haven't leveled up ADP right now. But I have really low equip load, so I'm actually doing pretty good on Oh my god, we're gonna be here for like 6 years, which I'm okay with. Early pursuer kill could be. You know, I don't like that it actually takes away his actual boss fight though. That's the only thing that sucks. Yeah, the gatekeepers. I'm like, dog, you got too much time on your hands. You, we got honest to God problems, but that's not one of them. And if you want people to not play the new entry in a series, that means that you're okay that the series dies, and I think that's really stupid. So, touch grass, and just shut the fuck up. Also, accept my block on social media. I don't have any time for those people. I don't need to see your posts, and I do not care. All right. All right. That's like if someone was like, I only respect people who play vanilla Dark Souls 2. I think if they play Scholar, that's a waste. No. What if you just shut up? Yeah, I think I'll get Pursuer this time. I'm talking shit, and I probably shouldn't do that. Yoink. Yoink. I fought him so many times by this point that, like, I can do the classic, I'm going to move to the left. I'm going to move to the left. My weapon will break before I die. Hey, staggered. Hey, you need to do moves that I'm not used to. Like do that pokey move. That pokey move, that sometimes gets me. Or do your little explosion of darkness. That's a good one. Or you can just be a bitch. Okay. Nice. Oh god. Sorry guys, Forgot that you activate. Fuck you. Yoink. Hey. Oh, actually, firebomb guy. Do you want to be cool and blow these up? Because your aim fucking sucks, bro. God. Okay. Oh, that didn't work out. Okay, never mind. I'll unlock that later. Later, nerd. Okay, let's pop another one. Probably didn't need to pop one, but that's no big deal. We're just gonna go past all these jabronis. What's up, big dog? How you doing? Whoop. Whoop. Yeah, dynamic shadows did not work. Whoop. Okay. Thank God for the player enhancement mod. Let me go through fog walls faster. Yeah, I got me that ring of blades. Love to see it. Do you think Gwendolyn gets bit occasionally when they try to wipe after number 2? Wait, do you think Gwendolyn gets bit occasionally? Do you mean bit by the snakes that Gwendolyn has? Good old Gwendolyn. Yeah, well, I'll put on my ring of blades when my grandpa guy gets the Majula. Yeah, I imagine he probably gets bit by his snakes. It's kind of like Mesmer coded, right? Or more likely, Mesmer is Gwendolyn coded a little bit. Also, Bloodborne coded with the big snake attack. That was like super Shadows of Yharnam, which is great. Does your DS remastered mod make DSR look more like the original? Yeah, that was the main goal, is to make it look more like Prepare to Die Edition. But obviously beyond that, it has big technical upgrades. So if you go back to the Prepare to Die Edition, a lot of things don't have normal maps. Dynamic shadows are lower resolution. Yeah, DSR was an upgrade on a technical level. On an artistic level, it was a step back in many ways. Some more minor than others, but yeah, my mod basically brings it back to Prepare to Die Edition visuals in terms of artistic standards. And then it just upgrades the textures, the lighting, the shadows, just so many things. That's the mod I worked on the most. Like, it's not even close. I spent like 1,500 hours working on that thing. It's crazy. I'm still the most proud of that, to be honest. That's the one I like. Have you seen the DS3 remaster leaks? Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about it. I have not heard any scuttlebutt on my end. I think it'd be cool, you know. Like, sure, I'd pay for that. To be honest with you, I totally would. Like, but also I'm a weak ass bitch, so like they have me by the balls, and they know it. So like, of course I'm gonna buy that. and mod the fuck out of it. Like, are you kidding me? I'd love that. I think there's a lot of easy wins with Dark Souls 3 if you're gonna like remaster it. There's so many easy wins, you know? Was itching to ask 3 streams ago, but you were dealing with some problematic chat members. Oh yeah, that does happen. Luckily, I've been pretty lucky. Luckily, I've been pretty lucky. That makes sense. Lately, it's been a lot better, but yeah, occasionally you have some real shitheads in chat that come out to be like homophobic. Like, it's really weird. They're like self-reports. Awesome, because after beating Scholar the first time and moving on to DSR, I thought it was going to look magnitudes better, but got disappointed. Yeah, definitely DSR on its own was not a big, like, I think side by side you're not going to notice like huge differences, but it obviously ran a lot better. Every surface had a normal map and a specular map now, and the water reflections were higher resolution, dynamic shadows were higher resolution, so like it did get a lot right, but my mod basically picked up where QLock left off and added parallax occlusion mapping to a shitload of surfaces, which, as I'm sure you can tell, that's a habit for me. Yeah, DSR, a big part of DSR was basically getting it running on modern platforms, and then basically fixing the rendering, and then it no longer has physics-related things of like 30 versus 60 FPS, so they fixed that. They did add some of their own bugs, but mostly it actually runs on a really, really efficient rendering engine now. Like, it's fantastic. World-class, frankly, at the time. But in the process, they kind of goofed up some things. But I think QLock gets too much shit for the DSR. I think the reason most people are wary of DS3 remaster is because Bloodborne released first and desperately needs... Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, those are separate issues. I mean, that's the thing. That's just a separate issue, because Bloodborne is owned by Sony, and anything Bloodborne related is going to be Sony doing it, and Sony is the one who decides that, and so anything DS3 related is going to be Bandai Namco related. And I doubt FromSoft even really has anything to do with it, because it seems like DSR, FromSoft had nothing to do with that. Like, that was all Bandai Namco. So, who owns the Dark Souls IP? So, like, unfortunately, those are just completely separate issues, to where if we get a DS3 thing, it doesn't mean we're less likely to get a Bloodborne thing, right? Those are just, unfortunately, on parallel tracks, so we might be able to get both. What do you think will happen if Sony buys Katakawa? I think initially nothing. I think there's a lot of like fear-mongering about it. And look, I'm not happy about it. Look, I would love if that doesn't happen. I would pay them $100 if somehow that would make it not happen. Like, I would love to go out of my own pocket to be like, hey, Katakawa, big dog. Let's not do that. I think realistically, I would bet, and I don't think it's a great bet, but I think it's more likely that they don't in the future make FromSoft games exclusive, because I do think that FromSoft is known as a multi-platform developer, and they have been known as that for quite a while. And of course they have Bloodborne, which was exclusive, and they have Demon Souls that was exclusive. But yeah, I don't really think that they're gonna just go, you know what, fuck you, and here's why. Sony does that when it makes sense. And to be fair, Microsoft has also had exclusives, but theirs are for PC and Xbox, so that lessens it, to where you could still play on PC, so it doesn't feel as like harmful. But as you can see with Xbox, they changed their strategy when they realized that they could make more money by putting their games on PlayStation than by keeping them exclusive to Xbox and PC. One made more money, and they went, oh, well, we should do that. And they did it, and it made money. And they went, well, shit, okay. And so Sony, I think it's going to be the same calculation. If they remove the FromSoft games in the future from being on other platforms, that takes away so much money, especially PC. Xbox, that's not a huge platform in terms of sales, percentage-wise. But if you take it away from PC, oh, you're losing big money. You're losing big money. And I don't think that offsets it by the console sales that they would make up. Because as we know, Sony is completely demolishing the console war. Like, it's not even a war at this point. Like, they have 80%, Xbox has 20, and then Nintendo's off doing their own fucking thing, which is great. And so, like, they don't need any more exclusive titles to juice their consoles. Like, their consoles are already selling really fucking well. So, like, that's the good thing. Like, they don't need more reasons for that. That's what I'm hoping. I don't think they need to own FromSoft. I would prefer. They already owned, like, I think 15 or 17%, with Tencent as well. They already own a percentage of FromSoftware. So this would just up their percentage to like 85%, because Katakawa owns, I believe it's 70% of FromSoft. So obviously they're the majority, which means like they own them. So really, you just want majority control. You know what? I guess I'll get a lot of vigor. You know what? I'm gonna push back on the ADP for a while. But yeah, I do hope that like the merger doesn't happen, or the buyout. I think Xbox is realizing they don't want to be a console manufacturer. I mean, essentially, I think they're going to treat their Xboxes like they treat the Surface tablets and whatnot. Where, like, if you want to buy them, cool, but if you don't, they don't really care. They basically are like, do you want to play them there? If you don't, play them on PC, play them on PlayStation. We don't give a shit. We just want to sell games, and we want to sell Game Pass. And that's it. Like, I think that's the real goal. Oh, I can see the screen space shadows. Oh, now that really pops in and out. Um, but yeah, Microsoft, they just want to sell games. That's. I think they realized like 10 years ago, and that's just been their strategy ever since. Increasingly so over time. They've been slow walking their way towards just being a third party publisher at this point, because they're already one of the biggest third party publishers on Sony. You know, with Microsoft, Sea of Thieves, other titles I can't remember. Hi-Fi Rush came to PlayStation. Like, I think they should put fucking Halo on PlayStation. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm a big Halo fan. Halo needs it. Halo needs more players. So, like, by putting it on PlayStation, you're just going to sell more copies of Halo. I don't give a shit. I don't know if you saw, it was actually Katakawa approaching Sony. That's true. Yeah. That's what we heard. And in that case, I totally get where Katakawa's coming from. I do. Like, if they're looking at having hostile takeover, then in their minds, as a Japanese company, they would prefer to be owned by a Japanese company. Which, of the options you have, I get it. I totally get it, you know? And not to mention, the buyout actually makes a lot of sense in terms of, like, where they have crossover. In terms of, like, anime, manga, gaming, obviously. Like, yeah. I think it makes sense. I don't like it. Now, from what we've heard on the Sony side, which of course is not confirmed, but on the Sony side, apparently Sony's like, yeah, but we don't actually want all of your company. We would like the bits and pieces we want. And Katakawa apparently has been saying in return, no, you need all of us. Like, that's the deal. You don't get to pick and choose, because they own multiple game studios. The deal is bigger than FromSoft. I think some people have made a little bit too big of a deal of FromSoft. That's a big deal, don't get me wrong, but like that's not the overall play. This is not PlayStation doing this. This is Sony. This is the parent company of PlayStation. I would definitely prefer Katakawa just remains independent. Absolutely. Now, if I had to pick between, this is just a sort of like, if we're just freeballing it here, I don't agree with the takes that are like, Microsoft would be worse than Sony if they owned Katakawa. And I'm like, no, I don't think we have a lot of evidence to support that. If anything, if Microsoft owned Katakawa, that means that the FromSoft games would be guaranteed multi-platform. Like, that's their strategy. Their strategy is like, we don't give a shit. We're going to put them on multiple platforms, where Sony's strategy, historically, has been, we like exclusives. Those are just facts at this point. Now, I don't think Microsoft is a good fit to own Katakawa because obviously it's an American-based company, Japanese company, manga, anime. Those are things that like Microsoft doesn't fuck with. So I don't think that makes actually a lot of sense. But I think they would love FromSoftware purely for the money. Frankly, they're printing money over there. Ah, okay. So left trigger for the heal. Got it. I only have 3 heals. I gotta up that. I don't even know how to upgrade my heals. I've literally barely ever played a magic character. Yeah, next Halo needs to be really good, and an extra platform. Yeah, like they just need players, you know. Oh, I need to upscale the texture on the last giant, by the way. This is gonna be kind of. Oh fuck, he's gonna run at me real quick. Hey, hey. Okay, I'm gonna run to the other side and see if I can click this bitch ass before he gets to me. Ah, shit. Okay. Oh, shit. I gotta dodge. I gotta dodge. I gotta dodge. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to game camera. Oh, this is tough. Oh, shit. I can't see him. I can't see. Fuck. Shit. Okay, I can't select him. Ow. Okay, this is hard to do at the same time. If I did the dump mode, I could just dump his textures, but I actually don't want to like dump them. I want to like snap the game. Hey, let me pick him. Let me select last giant, okay? Hey, this is rude. Okay, ow. Grandpa took a hit. Ow. I mean, I would say FromSoft is definitely in the moneymaker territory. Like, I mean, obviously compared to like these giant corporations, no, but honestly, for Katakawa, FromSoft's like one of their biggest earners, you know. Specifically, I think one of their biggest strengths is that people play Elden Ring and then they go, fuck, I need to play all of their other games. Now, of course, you know, Katakawa's not getting money for Bloodborne. I actually don't know. It could be that FromSoft's getting like a chunk of that if Bloodborne sells or something, but it sells for super cheap now anyway. It's like $10, so like, much money from Bloodborne. But I would assume there's some deal set up where they get a split of the profits. Yeah, I mean, oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. Like early on, well, I think Microsoft said, I don't think they ever said they would never make any Bethesda game exclusive. I think it was always like a maybe. Case by they've always been coy about it, where it's like a case by case basis. Where Starfield, sure, that one ended up originally being for PlayStation, and then they bought out Bethesda and ended up becoming a PlayStation or a Xbox exclusive and PC. I also think that like the exclusive things, even when Microsoft does pick something to be exclusive, it's way less harmful because it's also on PC. For me, that dampens any of the effect that an exclusive thing would have as far as like taking it away from players. Yeah, exactly. Like they were right about COD. They ended up going, yeah, we're not going to make it exclusive, and they haven't. Now, if they do in the future, that sucks ass. But for COD, it doesn't make sense. I think the real reason why they would never do it for COD is that they would actually give up more money by doing that. I don't think people realize that like 80% of COD sales are on PlayStation. You would never give up that money. That would be criminally stupid. You would actually need to be fired if you did that. So that's the real reason, is like they're going to put the games on the console that's going to sell, and then they'll leave the ones that are exclusive that they don't think would do well on PlayStation. But like Call of Duty, oh fuck yeah, you make so much money on PlayStation. You print money on PlayStation with that. Now they have been nice with Call of Duty this year, which I'm not like a really big Call of Duty person, but I think it's been nice that this year there was no like console exclusive beta period or whatever, where PlayStation for the last like what 5+ years has always been doing, here's exclusive skins and exclusive early access thingy yada yada for COD. And this year it was actually kind of nice because Microsoft went, oh, everyone can play at the same time. And I was like, that's nice. And yeah, it's on Game Pass, so like that's how they juice their Game Pass stats. But here's the funny thing is that they pulled out the stats for the new COD launch, and still most people bought it on PlayStation. So we all assumed that like it would take away from a lot of their PlayStation sales, and it turns out the only thing it took away was from Xbox sales, which does make sense because people on Xbox were like, "Well, I'll just have Game Pass. I'm not going to pay $70, you know." So I think that makes sense. Yeah, let me put back the light map shadows. Kind of looks like shit when you transition between areas if you don't have them on. Yeah, Sony has a completely different strategy, and it's a strategy that works, to be honest, for what they're doing. Like, they have exclusives to sell more consoles because if they sell more consoles, they sell more games on said consoles, and when you do that, you don't have to pay a 30% cut for selling on someone else's platform, and so you make the most money, and they buy other games by having that console. So like, they're still kind of in an old business strategy, to be honest, and it's working for them. Like, PlayStation 5 is, I think, on par or doing better with PlayStation 4, which the PlayStation 4 absolutely fucking crushed it. So, for the people who go, "Oh my god, Sony's so incredibly stupid," I'm like, look, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan of either one, but I mean, we have to admit they're doing really well. Yeah, like, Microsoft's looking beyond that. Microsoft's like, "Dog, we want money on your mobile phone." People forget that the Activision buyout, people think that it was all about Activision, when in reality, a giant chunk of that deal was for the mobile gaming, which was called King. That's where the money is. Activision, sure, big games, yada yada, COD, whatever, World of Warcraft, you got all that stuff. Like, that's fine. But mobile gaming, that's what that was the big chunk there, that they wanted a piece of that. And so, oh, so this guy really is only wearing a robe. I didn't realize he had nothing else on. That's weird. I'm still under 40% though. I'll go with that. I mean, honestly, yeah, Microsoft, obviously Game Pass is a big part for them. They have plateaued with their Game Pass subscriptions because it just, you run out of people that you can sell it to, especially on Xbox. That plateaued a long time ago. On PC, that's where most of their signups have come from in the last couple of years, which makes sense. Unfortunately, the Xbox app is not great. I don't love it. I don't like playing the Xbox versions of games. Like, you have to launch it from the Xbox launcher. And so sometimes modding's a little different. Now, we'd obviously prefer if it could just be through Steam somehow, which I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to some of the Steam or Valve leaks, where it looks like they're going to release a lot more hardware. A new VR headset, which is like, whatever, that's fine. But what is interesting is essentially they're bringing back the Steam machines that ended up failing like 10 years ago or something. Because they have the Steam Deck and it's incredibly popular. And you can play all your Steam games, mostly. And it's running under, Vulkan, and it's converting them, right? If they sell essentially a console for your living room, or wherever you want to put it, and it would be doing the same thing that the Steam Deck's doing. Converting them, you can play your Steam library on this home console, right? And it could be made with custom hardware, similar to what they have with a Steam Deck, but obviously juiced up, a lot more powerful, also more expensive. And if they could make like a $500 Steam box that people could just buy and play an entire Steam library of games, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of a fucking play there. Because they have the platform that people love. And if they can make the hardware, and that's what the Steam Deck, I think, proved, is that, oh shit, that's the way to go. So now they can just release more Steam hardware. And, I mean, how crazy is it to sell a console and say, oh, you have access to, what, 5 bajillion games you can play on it? That's pretty crazy. And also cross-save. Might hear that fire truck going by. Yeah, like, you can, and they can tell you, oh, all your progress is saved with Steam Cloud Save, and it's the same Steam account you've always known and loved. and all the games you already own, you can play. Like that's how you do a console launch. That's how you enter the market. You already have a giant library, and it's no big deal. And new games are going to come to Steam automatically, right? Most, not all, but most. Yeah, the actual sizing of the like Steam box or whatever they end up calling it, I think is definitely interesting. I'm very interested in the hardware. I would assume they're going to stick with AMD. AMD could do a custom chip for them that's much larger, much more powerful. They have off-the-shelf ones, but the power of the Steam Deck is that it has a custom chip. You have all these competitors from the Roger Ally and then the Legion Go and all these different ones, but they have off-the-shelf parts, which are good, but can they match the efficiency and the specific hardware spec of the Steam Deck? Because they're all more powerful, but the hidden, like the real secret sauce of the Steam Deck is the Steam OS, not the hardware itself. And running Windows 11 on a fucking handheld sucks ass. It sucks ass compared to SteamOS. So that's the huge difference. But if you look back at Steam's history, this has been in the works for a long time. Remember when they first came out with big picture mode? So it would be more console-like, if you want to use that. That was a long time ago. So I feel like they've been slowly building the groundwork for this. Yeah, the last time they tried, it was, Steam machines ended up floundering. But now that they've done the like pilot program with the Steam Deck, and DXVK is good enough, Proton, doing the conversions from DirectX to Vulkan so it can run under Linux, right? And because that's so good now, I think it's doable. Okay, big fire truck coming by. Woof. Okay, dex and strength. I still want like vitality. No, I'll go vigor and endurance for now. Damn, we got cop cars going by. They're going to need absolute. Otherwise, I think the downsides of running everything through Proton are going to destroy the usefulness. I mean, I would say they're getting very good performance through Proton, to be honest. I would say, I don't know. I think Proton's at a pretty good state now. I don't know. I don't think it deep fries too many games anymore. Not to mention it's more popular than ever. Yeah, big picture mode was like, where the fuck did this come from? And at first I was like, why the fuck am I going to use this? But now it makes sense. Yeah, they'll have to get past the online thing for sure. I don't know how they'll have to do that, but if anything, they can figure that out. Are you using any visual mods? No, just the lighting engine and then the parallax thing, which does include upscale textures as well. Devs hate Linux users. I don't agree with that statement because obviously I have experience using Linux, and my dad is the biggest Linux fan of all time, and he's a computer programmer. But I'll tell you a little story about Linux, okay? So I tried to switch to Linux a few years ago during the pandemic. I was like, you know what? Windows is annoying me right now. And there's plenty of good Linux distros out there. There's a bajillion. But I was like, okay, I'm going to go for the most popular distro because obviously I've used Linux over the years, and there's always been driver problems, right? Because then you have the proprietary drivers, and then you have the open source drivers. Specifically for the graphics card was always the problem because the proprietary were imperfect, and they were not open source, so it was not ideal. And then you had the open source ones, which lacked a lot of features. Now, of course, that's gotten a lot better. The problem, and this is like in a microcosm, I think, the Linux problem. So I remember it was a few years ago, I downloaded Ubuntu. I went for the most classic Ubuntu, long-term support. It should be the most well-supported, easiest to use of all the Linux distros. So I installed that. And I shit you not, by default, it did not have video acceleration, hardware video acceleration on the browser. And I went, well, that seems weird. I have the drivers installed. I've done all those. My cat's trying to bite cables. Buddy, get. And I was like, okay, well, that seems weird. I Googled it, and they were like, oh, so you need to go into the Chrome flags and enable hardware video acceleration. Well, I did that. Still didn't work. Then they said, okay, hold on. We have a specific Chromium build that then allows hardware acceleration on NVIDIA GPUs. And I'm like, my brother in Christ, if you're trying to be a legitimate competitor to Windows and you don't even have hardware video acceleration figured out, that's some shit. Now, maybe that's been fixed in the last 3 years, but even 3 years ago, I'm like, that's fucking insane. That's fucking insane that I had to Google that and go through, I don't know how many different forums of people giving me Chromium goddamn builds to have fucking hardware video acceleration. That is a microcosm of like, that is why Linux will never take over. And that's why Steam OS has been fantastic, because it is Linux. But they have their shit figured out. And with that, we don't have to worry, because they'll have all of that figured out. Because it's on one hardware spec. They can have all the drivers completely figured out. But as an end user, a very, very computer proficient hardware user, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And they're like, yeah, but all you have to do is if you pull up the command line, and then, okay, so we just have to do get this, okay, sudo, and I'm like, you're fucking insane. You're fucking insane if you think this is ever going to be mainstream. And that's why Linux hasn't been mainstream, and that's why it's best for servers. And obviously, Android runs on Linux. Under the hood, obviously, Unix is the key. You install every feature yourself. Yeah, I mean, exactly. What you're describing there, I think that's fine. I think you can advocate for Linux and go, it has this great freedom, and I love that. But when they also go, oh, I think everyone should use it, and I go, I disagree with that. Yeah, it's good for certain things. I think it's awful if you want regular users to use it. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And they've made great strides in that, but like, my God. And also because there's 5 bajillion distros. Okay, well, yeah, I'd have to test that, because they said that when I also 3 years ago tried Ubuntu, the most popular Linux distro. At that point, I don't know if Mint has taken over, but the fact that it couldn't even do video hardware acceleration, I was like, that's fucking insane. It's not even like I had a new GPU. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's what a lot of people said back in the day, and it ended up being not true. Yeah, NVIDIA, I understand, is a harder play, because AMD has always been kinder when it comes to the driver support. And NVIDIA has been a bit of a bitch. But I think it was in the last few years, NVIDIA's been a little bit nicer about drivers on Linux, but yeah. And obviously the open source ones have just gotten a lot better, I guess, but I just was a little shocked that we were in this century and they couldn't do hardware video acceleration out of the box. I was like, woof. That is bad. And also, which programs could I use? Which ones couldn't I use? For me, it was difficult because there's so many tools I use that require like, you know, the C++ redistributables, and like on Linux, that's not going to happen. Yeah, they refused to provide decent driver support. Yeah, they did, because they were basically like, yeah, but we don't want to give you all the info that's in our driver. So like, and AMD has been more open for a long time because they were getting absolutely demolished by NVIDIA, and they became a much kinder company, and they have open solutions. Oh, you can get C++ redistros on Linux now. Oh, there you go. That's a plus. I would assume it's still finicky, and that's why I've always stuck on Windows, because everything I need to use works here, and it works well, and I get good performance out of it. So I've never felt the big need to go somewhere else. Like, Windows does annoy me sometimes, but they're relatively minor problems. Yeah, Wine, you're obviously going to pay the performance problem or performance cost, but yeah, trust me, I used Wine, and setting it up, they made it sound so easy, and I'm like, not in practice. Running Wine was not. I think the expectations for Linux users is completely different than if you put it in front of an actual, like, regular end user. It's a fucking nightmare. And I think that's been sort of my annoyance with the Linux community, to a degree, because they're like, we would like our operating system to be the standard, but then they'd also just make everything fucking complicated and require the command prompt, or there's one distro that does work well, but then there's 500 bajillion others. But I get that it's like the open source nature that you can't have it both ways. So yeah, Windows I've just found to be, that's where all the programs that I want to use work, and I don't have driver issues. And Regular users do everything in the browser. I mean, it depends on the regular user. I would say, I mean, my mom is a regular user, and I promise you, she does stuff outside of the browser. And I remember showing her the file system on Linux, and she was like, I don't know what any of this is. Yeah, exactly. Command line is absolutely an essential thing, and it's fantastic. But 99.999% of users who would like a normal computing experience will never want to open that. And I think that's what Linux has been having a problem with, where it's like there's the nerds that would like to keep it very Linuxy, and I'm like, unfortunately, that's going to just limit how many people use it. So that's why you have other distros that are more consumer friendly. But even those ones I've tried, there'll be something I run into where I go, well, all right, got to Google this. What the fuck? I mean, Windows has its own problems. Don't get me wrong. I've had problems in Windows, or when Microsoft puts out an update that just fucks something up. Yeah, the file system on Linux, I had to really like go, what the fuck is going on here? I understand the actual layout of it isn't like insane, but it. And then obviously Linux very much enforces the administrator role not using that, where Windows, and it's worse for security, don't get me wrong. So I don't think it's so much the actual file, like, it's more the file structure of how it looks. And it's the way that it's laid out just looked completely foreign to me. And I'm like, okay. And they might just be fighting a battle where they're like, and look, I think Mac does some really stupid things too. Where I think the dumbest thing in Mac, because I had a Mac Mini for a while, and the dumbest thing in Mac, Mac OS, is that when you want to install a program, you download something, you have to, they bring up this window, and you literally have to drag it across and then drop it in this other window. It's the dumbest shit of all time. So, like, look, I'm not going to say that other operating systems don't have problems. They absolutely do. But, yeah, and that's one where you can use file managers. But once again, I assure you, there's always edge cases. And, yeah, so I've always just found Windows to be way easier to use. Because Linux is all about, you know, modularity, right? And as long as that's the case, I think it's just going to be harder for a lot of people to use it. Yeah. I think in Linux, I constantly was running into a problem where I'm like, oh, I don't have the dependencies. Whoop, I don't have the dependencies. Whoop, I don't have the dependencies. Whoop, I don't have. I just kept hitting brick walls in Linux, where it was very much unlike my Windows experience, where Windows would just go, yeah, all right, it works. It's a little sloppy sometimes, but it would just work. What would you prefer at this point? Would you prefer a Bloodborne PC port? Oh, Bloodborne PC report or PC port, easy, easy. The Demon Souls one we'll get in time. I don't know when, but like we ought to be getting that at some point. But oh yeah, Bloodborne port for sure. I would love it. Please give me the PC port. Oh yeah, I forgot. Pursuer's not going to be in his spot. Um, Damn. Also, I would say with the most, you know, ever since the M1 came out for Mac, or on the Apple side, they have the best method of basically, it's not even emulation, but they had the best solution for like, oh, because now we're ARM based and we have a shitload of x86 designed, you know, programs and software, right? And so they're, God, what do they call it? Rosetta? Yeah, they're the translation, because it's not even like a translation layer. They had the brilliant idea of like, what if we just translate the whole thing in one go at the beginning, and then it just becomes like a native app? You still pay a certain percentage cost, don't get me wrong. But I always thought that was brilliant. Rosetta 2, I think it was. I thought that was a brilliant way of converting something to use ARM instead of like doing it at runtime, right? I was like, oh shit. So you just translate the whole goddamn thing. Why do you think they still haven't made a port to Bloodborne? Yeah, Windows on ARM does do the emulation. Yeah, Windows on ARM it's been slowly improving. It's been pretty slow. But unfortunately, we don't have like cool. We don't have cool we don't have cool chips to run ARM Windows on, because I think the Snapdragon ones are pretty fucking boring. I want the Apple, like Apple Silicon, fucking rocks. It's a shame it's limited, obviously, to just Mac, but God, as far as like performance and efficiency, Apple Silicon absolutely bangs. It's so good. I don't want to say that. I love what you do. Thank you, Pixel Knight. Also, very cool name. Why do you think they still haven't made a port to Bloodborne? Honestly, like, I think it just got awkward at a certain point. It could have been early PlayStation leadership that didn't want to do it. I think there's a lot of reasons. Um, I don't know. I do know that, like, if they're going to do anything with Bloodborne, the betting odds, judging by their previous decisions, is first, it will hit console, right? Because that's where they make the most money. Let's save all atmospheres, yes. They'll make the most money from that. Hey, why did you run in the hole, big dog? Nope, not that guy. Cheers from Argentina. Oh, hell yeah. All the homies like Argentina. I do like that I generally have a somewhat global audience. The majority are still in the United States, but I do have a decent number that are from other countries, which is very cool. As a person in the United States, I love other countries. Maybe more than my own, if I'm honest. Hot take. Very not hot take. Our country kind of, ugh. All right. You guys thought you guys were going to jump scare me here? I don't think so. This is Dark Souls, dog. I know what I'm getting into here. Ooh, throwing knife. Thank you. Whoop. There they go. Biggest plot twist is the DES remake porting before Bloodborne. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they've already done the remake and it was originally announced to come on PC, but they said that was an error, which I don't believe for a fucking second. I could see Demon's Souls remake coming first, because it was also on the NVIDIA leak, which has been bulletproof, basically. Like, there's nothing that hasn't eventually come to PC. Everything that was on there has been announced, except for the Demon's Souls remake. So, like, I would find it weird if that's the one exclusion. We've had Returnal, we've had Ghost of Tsushima, we've had basically everything. Like, it's on the list. Like, they've already done it, and they've done PC ports of basically every other fucking game that's come out on PS5. So, like, for their exclusives. So there's no good reason for them to not do it, because not only it means they're going to sell a lot more copies, because basically everyone who's played all the other FromSoft games but hasn't played Demon's Souls, I mean, you're gonna fucking play it. Also, it looks insane. Demon's Souls remake is still one of the best looking games I've ever seen, like by far, and it's all rasterization. It's crazy. It's just really good classic rasterization done exceptionally well. Is it worth playing? 1,000% it's worth playing. Yes. Oh, the running Royal Surge is a fairly consistent bug. Yeah, I see it every once in a while. It's very funny. I also had I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky, I posted the image of I had a knight in the Shulva DLC who I did a riposte and I killed him, but he stayed in birthing pose as if he was wanting me to impregnate him or something, or he was about to give birth, frankly. And he just stayed there. I came back like 10 minutes, he was still there. It's crazy. Damn, it's a real shame Pursuer's not going to be here. Yeah, Demon Souls is absolutely worth playing. I love Demon Souls. I rank it probably below all three Dark Souls games, but I still love it. Like, I fucking love it. It's so cool, and I love, like, the hub and the fast travel, and I love how it's all, like, very segmented, Very cool. And obviously they kind of harkened back to that with the DS3 hub world, at least in terms of looks and layout. What's up, big dog? Whoop. What do we got over here? Ooh, life gem. We're crushing it. Try out the Archstone mod. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Archstones mod is pretty crazy. Or Arch. Oh, you mean Archstones? Yeah, for some reason I thought Archthrones also very impressive. Archstones, yeah, for like multiplayer. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I definitely recommend people play the original game as well. No, that's about right. Oh, okay. I guess we can go to Lost Bastille. It's kind of crazy. Seems early for that, but then again, I've just kind of been going quick. I kind of just jam here. Oh, wait, why are there no soldiers here? That's weird. Huh. Swear to God, there's always two soldiers hitting this thing, right? Yeah, I definitely recommend people play the original as well after they play the remake. I think the remake is the best way to play it. Obviously, on a modern platform, I think it overall plays better. I think obviously the equip load related thing where you can send stuff back to storage is like just a fucking game changer. I hate that in the original game. How you just went, well, can't pick that up. Uh, oh, once you kill them a couple times, they stop spawning. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here's my first time coming here. Weird. I always swear they were here, but okay. I guess maybe they'll... Both of them drop down one at a time and run through the map. Oh, weird. Also, I'm such a sucker for like giant fucking statues like this. This reminds me of Lord of the Rings, right? When they go in that one pathway through the like and there's those two giant statues with their like hands out. This is exactly where this what this reminds me of. So cool. Yeah, definitely. It's so Lord of the Rings coded. Love it. I haven't watched the Lord of the Rings movies in a long time because they're so long. Especially if you do like the extended editions. Yikes. It's like 12 hours for the trilogy. They're fucking great though. I think they absolutely hold up. Obviously, they've also inspired, the books have inspired so many things. Yeah, Egypt. That's true. That's probably yeah. That'd be the OG. I love the Egyptian architecture. I've been watching retrospectives of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I definitely need to watch them again because it. I've never seen them in like their full quality because obviously they got remastered in like 4K Blu-ray or whatever. But yeah, the Hobbit trilogy. I only saw the first one. I was a bit disappointed that they ended up doing a trilogy out of them because I'm like, well, it's the shortest book, like by far. Uh, so I didn't love that, but I get that they added some stuff in from the appendices or something. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it needed to be one movie. Like, and I get it was a studio decision because I think at first it was two. And then the studio was like, yeah, what if we stretch it to three? Yeah, I think they'd still be great movies. I do want to watch the two other Hobbit movies because I like the actors in them. I like the first one. Um, and to be fair, The Hobbit was actually my favorite book to actually read because it was the most enjoyable because it was essentially like a kid's book. Not really a kid's book, but you know what I mean. It was more accessible reading. The other books were much more dense and yeah, Anner means son. Def don't watch the extended Hobbit. Oof, yeah. I see that to me does seem really weird because I'm like, dog, you already extended it to three movies. There's no reason why you should do that. Yeah, who did a special cut of the movies? There's someone who did a special cut that like I thought put them all together or stuff. Yeah, yeah. Tolkien wrote it as a kid's book, right? Okay, yeah, I knew somewhere in there. Also, the parallax on this wood, not bad. Looks pretty good. I know they also have like fan edits of like the Star Wars movies too. Doesn't uh doesn't Topher Grace didn't he do something with that? From what I remember, he did a fan edit of something. I watched a fan edit and it was the most exhausting experience ever. Woof. Yeah. Yeah, it was also 1937. So like whatever the kids in 1937, God knows what But that was never publicly released. Got it. That's right. Which would make total sense why it could never be publicly released. I'm sure he has it. Just he plays it for his friends or something. But yeah, obviously you can't distribute that. So. Oh, has anyone? Okay, riddle me this, chat. Has anyone watched the most recent Star Wars TV show that came out? It's got the what's his face in it that I like. Jude Law. Is that decent? Is that good? Do we like that? Obviously, my favorite of their TV series is Andor. Andor, I've already watched like twice through. Yeah, the one that just came out. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. It's Wrecking Crew or something. I don't know why that's coming to it. It wasn't good. Damn. I'm curious. I haven't really looked at reviews. I live under a rock. No, you're good. Like I don't even know. I barely have heard of it. Like I saw some ads. Skeleton Crew. Okay, because then Hideo Kojima tweeted that he was watching it, but I don't know if he said if he liked it. Because I generally enjoy The Mandalorian. I think it's got worse over time, but I generally are like, it's fine. It's Baby Yoda. It's great. Like, yeah. And then Andor was a highlight for me. From my understanding, it's a kid's show. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I really like Jude Law. I think I've liked anything that Jude Law's in. Yeah, there's the typical review bombing. I can look past that because, hi mate, I just recently discovered your channel while searching for DS2 mod. I'm glad I found it. You are amazing, mate, and I love your work. Thank you, Andrea. That's very nice. That's very nice. It's always cool when someone stumbles on my channel and they're like, whoa, all right, I found the biggest nerd in the goddamn world. Faram is medieval Mandalorian. Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, that fits. Oh, you know the worst one for me was the Book of Boba Fett. I did not like that. The Mandalorian episodes were the only good ones, and those were just episodes of The Mandalorian. But the actual like Book of Boba Fett was like, man, I did not like it. Like it, and even the Tamura Morrison guy was like, yeah, it was kind of weird, and like they made him into a good guy, and that's weird. And it's not like he has to be evil, but like, dog, you were like a ruthless bounty hunter, and then he just became like this really super nice guy that was just looking out for people. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, some of the flashback stuff was cool. And then you know when I really lost it is when those kids came in on their scooters. And the scooters looked like they were from the Power Rangers. And they were so clean. I think to me that's what really bugged me. Because I was like, dude, you're in the most dusty ass fucking place ever. And they're like the cleanest thing ever. It felt funny to me. And the combat, the fighting was also like, eh. Yeah, like I think they could have pulled off like him evolving. But it felt a little jarring to like, I don't know. I just don't think they landed. The color gang pulls up, and I just woof. I was like, dude, no. But the Mandalorian episodes were fucking sick. So the Darksaber and all that shit, like, I'm a hoe for the Mandalorian. I have to admit. Yeah, putting away his gun. And, yeah, I'm not a Disney hater. Like, I'm not a Disney Star Wars hater guy. I'm not, because I think there's been plenty that's decent. We don't talk about The Rise of Skywalker. We don't talk about that. It didn't happen. Okay, we don't talk about that. But I didn't hate The Last Jedi. I think Force Awakens was a totally safe like reboot. Oh, I have not watched The Acolyte. That's true. I have not watched that. I heard some good things and I heard some bad things. But I think overall, it seemed like most people liked it. Ish. And it had good actors in it that I liked. It had the guy from Squid Games. Wasn't it him? Wasn't he in it? Yeah, there was some racist shit for sure. Oh, here's the other thing. I actually really enjoyed the Obi-Wan series. Hot take. I'm a Ewan McGregor slut. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be real upfront with you. I love him. And so they gave me what I wanted. I like the Obi-Wan series. I'm going to throw it out there. I know it was a little goofy. Some things were a little low rent. But I liked it. And I liked the confrontation with Vader. Like, I'm going to just put it out there. I was in. I liked it for what it was. Now, Andor is my real show. Andor fucking blew my brain out the back of my brain. Like, Andor was just... Andor is what I wanted. And it was perfect to me. And the acting, and the writing, and the... Like, Andor stands... So, like, when I say I like the other things, Andor's like 5 bajillion levels above that. Like, Andor was just... In the second season, I'm hearing is even going to go bigger and harder, and I'm just like... It was so fucking good. I'm so in. I also am a slut for Rogue One, so that's probably why I liked it as much as I did. But, yeah, I loved Andor. It was so good. I was so hooked. Yeah, exactly. Andor is its own thing. I don't think they need to apply that to all the others. It was perfectly what it wanted to be. But yeah, I think some of the other shows could use a little bit more. I think, like, The Mandalorian to me started wavering a little bit, you know, in like season like 2 and 3. I think the first season I dug it, you know. I'll move away from the rebellion. Yeah, I think Andor is like a good bridge between like that stuff, but they don't have to like keep going back to that. I also think they could just start telling a lot of other fucking stories in the Star Wars universe, because the universe is huge, and you don't need to focus on like the 5 last names that everyone knows. Tell new stories. Also, Knights of the Old Republic, what are we doing with that? Disney, what are we doing with that? Are we making a Knights of the Old Republic show? Are we making a movie? What are we doing? Because Knights of the Old Republic, I fucking love that lore. I love those games. And now I know they're adding little bits from the Old Republic over time to other shows, and they're doing little, like, you know, tidbits, but like, dude. Well, to be fair, they are pulling stuff from the extended universe. It's just in little bits and bobs. Like, there's little things where they go, ah, that's a Jedi that was in the extended universe. Ah, that was a concept from... But, dude, the Old Republic, oh my god, please, do... Yeah, Crate Dragon, they are pulling things from Legends, or the extended universe type stuff, in bits and pieces of, like, what they like and what they don't or whatever, which I think makes sense, personally. But Knights of the Old Republic, they're making more and more of that canon as they go on. Like, each show has more references to the Old Republic. And I think Dave Filoni is a big Old Republic sicko. I'm just like, dude, that is such untapped potential. Because I love the Old Republic. Because it was so far back that they could tell new stories that weren't focused on the Kenobis or the Palpatines or... And it fell into some of the same tropes, don't get me wrong, but God, come on. Yeah, Old Republic is still before High Republic. The High Republic they made after that, and I hear the High Republic has some really cool stuff in it, for sure. Yeah, so like the Old Republic is still, not only that, when Disney showed its official Star Wars timeline, the Old Republic, correct me if I'm wrong, the Old Republic was on that timeline. And the High Republic was after it. But they did recognize that the Old Republic is a thing. So, like, for me, that made me happy. So, I'm hoping in the future we get some Old Republic shit, because I think that could bang. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely stretched, right? Where they could do another timeline in between the old and the... I think you can get kind of funky with it, right? But... I'm like, damn, dog, you guys have such a good opportunity there. Yeah, I'm like, damn. Come on, Old Republic. I need to play the KOTOR games again. Did you like the Jedi games? Hey, what's up, Mortal Crux? What's up, big dog? Yeah, overall I did. I liked Survivor better than Fallen Order. Overall, I'd put them into 7 to 8 out of 10, give or take. But I had a good time. I really did. How you been, homie? I'm pretty decent, pretty good, pretty just no lifing the no lifing the Dark Souls modding hardcore. How's Mortal Crux going? How's the indie game development? I've been seeing some posts, seeing some updates. Seems consistent. Everyone has to Wish list, Mortal Crux on Steam. Pretty good game. Pretty good game from what I'm seeing. I haven't got my hands on it. But it's looking pretty snazzy. I'm digging it. For all the Morrowind sickos out there, Elder Scrolls sickos, Dark Souls sickos, Mortal Crux is that game. I don't think that's as important as the setting, but I also feel like it does exist a bit. You'll be first to know when I have a beta ready? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I will play the fuck out of that. And then, of course, make a video about it, as I like making really low rent videos that people like for some reason. I'm lucky that no one expects better from me, like at all. No one expects good videos out of me, which is great, because like I don't have those. I have videos where I talk, and they go, ah, this guy likes talking about this. That is all they expect, and it's great. That's the pro tip for anyone making a YouTube channel. Set the expectations low. Basically. What's a 7 to you? Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, obviously, the numbers I give the FromSoft games, I give all of them like a 10 out of 10, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I love all of them. They go beyond a 10. Like, Dark Souls 1 is a 15. Like, I'm a professional yapper. I absolutely am. What else would I consider like a 7 or 8? And I personally consider a 7 or 8 to be good. I am not one who goes, it's a disaster this game got a 7. No, I grew up in an era where 7s and 8s were great. And a lot of games came out. Not every game can be a 10, you know? Not every game is going to redefine a genre. And that's fine. So many awesome... I loved NFL Blitz. And that's kind of a shitty game. Why do you like DS2 so much? Oh, that's a great question. I love the setting. I love the lore. I love all the quirky fucking things they tried. I love the art style in many of the areas. I love how varied it is. I love how flawed this game is. The combat's not my favorite, but it's weird. It's wonky. It's quirky. I just like to put that scale in perspective. What's another game that what's a recent game I've played? That's the real question. I usually just play FromSoft games for most of my time. Right now I'm blanking. I can't think of a recent game I played. I know I've played one. Yeah, okay. I gotta like look up games. What games came out recently? What have I played? Maybe I go to Metacritic and I just pull up the recent games. Wukong I haven't played yet. I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. It seems fine. I think my problem I'd have with Wukong is that it seems pretty repetitive in terms of like the staff gameplay, and it also I've heard from a lot of people that it doesn't have a lot of impact on the hits, and that's a criticism I have of Dark Souls 2, frankly. So, okay, this year, what have I played? Have I played any of these? Okay, well, I used to play Destiny a long time ago. I would consider Destiny and Destiny 2 like an 8 out of 10. Like, it's fine. I think it's good. It didn't blow my mind or anything. It was fun. Man, it really turns out I don't play a lot of games. That is relatively unsurprising. Astrobot I haven't played. Damn. This year seems pretty dry. I don't know. I mean, this year has a fuckload of games to play. I'm just weird, and I'm stuck in a rut where I basically just play FromSoft games. It's also because I mod them, so I just end up playing them at the same time. Best games of all time. Okay, I'm just scrolling through now, trying to look. Half-Life Alyx, I think, was like a 9 out of 10. I had a great time playing that in VR. Now, if you didn't play it in VR, it's obviously not as good, but I like that. other game? World of Warcraft. That's hard to even put a score on World of Warcraft because I played that for so many years. Lords of the Fallen. There's a good one. I consider Lords of the Fallen the reboot. The original I consider like a 5 out of 10, but I didn't even get that far in it. I hated it. The reboot I consider about a 7, 7.5. God, they patched it again. So I just tried it like 2 weeks ago. Because they put out that giant patch, right? And I was like, okay, let me give it another shot. I put 20 hours into it, 15 to 20 on the first go around when it first came out. And I liked some things, and I disliked a good chunk of things. Now, it's gotten a lot better, but fundamentally, I still came away with the same thought that it's really odd to me that they started with Pieta as like the first real boss that you face. And it's awesome. And her moveset's awesome. And the arena's awesome. And the whole fight, I love. The music's great. Like, oh, Lies of P. God, there's a fucking game. Okay, so Lies of P, I consider like a 9 out of 10 for me. That was great. Really love it. On the back half of the game, I had some criticisms. Man, I did not like Mortal Shell at all, unfortunately. I've tried like 5 times. Dude, okay. Yeah, when Pieta, after you beat her and she like reforms, it's like at 5 FPS for that sort of like mold looking thing. I don't get it. I don't know. I thought that was a bug, but it still is that way. So apparently that's intentional. But no, Pieta is like an awesome boss. And for me, for the next 15 hours, every boss was worse than that. Didn't live up to that hype. Like, not even close. That's what was weird. None of them I thought had the spectacle. None of them I thought had a similar, like, score that was fucking awesome. And then the movesets and, like, I don't know. I just didn't... none of them really were fun to me. That fun. The areas... I got to admit, the areas didn't really stand out a ton. I think artistically, it looks very cool. And I love, like, the giant hand in the distance. And I think the, like, art design, I think they did really cool things. And I think level design, they really tried to, like, connect back. Yeah, enemy variety, not great. Didn't like it. And unfortunately, as I progressed through the game, there's a gradual move towards more and more annoying areas as I kept going in Lords of the Fallen, the reboot. I just kept getting to worse areas that I liked being in less and less. You know, and the Umbral thing, I think, was a bit of a missed opportunity. It does remind me of the DS2 torch mechanic in that it had untapped potential, right? And it could have been used better. Umbral, most of the time, is I would just hit a wall and go, okay, let me go into Umbral, let me go find out the way past the thing. Yeah, I hear there's some, like really cool stuff later, but I'm like, dog, I'm like fucking like 20 hours into this on my second try as well, and I still, which reminds me of like Neo. So Neo, I overall think is like a 7 out of 10 for me. Neo and Neo 2. A lot of people are like, the combat is so much better than FromSoft games, and I just couldn't disagree more. I think that's a personal preference, but I don't like it more than FromSoft games, not even a little bit. Neo, they basically just barf a shit ton of mechanics on you, and then keep stacking mechanics on you, and then drown you with gear to where you're like, dude, I'm fucking tired. God. And the areas are brain dead boring. It's like, it's mission based, which is like Armored Core in that way. And the areas are brain dead boring. The level design is so fucking boring. And you know what's interesting is I really, really liked Wolong Fallen Dynasty more, and that's by Team Ninja as well. But that was a more focused experience, where it had a little bit less loot, the story was a little bit clearer, combat was a little simplified, focused more on parries. I liked Wolong Fallen Dynasty, to be honest. That I'd put it like an 8 out of 10. I actually enjoyed that. Sifu? Okay, Sifu I just recently tried, actually. And I loved so much of it. Until I got to the second boss. The second, like, main boss. And then you started to have to, like, alter your parrying based upon, like, high, mid, or low, which reminded me of, like, Neo, of the different stances. And it got to this level of, like, I was not enjoying that boss fight as much. But if I could just have a Sifu game where that boss didn't exist, or just bosses in general, I would actually just love if I could go into Sifu and just beat the shit out of people in different, like, big guys, small guys, quick guys, fast guys, whatever. And then the bosses, like, I'm not interested in that. That was not the fun part for me. The fun part was, like, picking up weapons, going through the areas, how well could I do, and then beat the really difficult guys to get 1 year life back on your character. Like, the gameplay was fucking awesome. So satisfying. It was like I was John Wick, right? Just all melee, right? Really loved it. But I'll admit the boss fights when I went, oh, this has become not fun difficulty for me. This has sort of moved into, but really cool though. I hope they make a sequel or make another one. Monster Hunter. See, Monster Hunter's one that I've actually never tried. I have to admit, looking at gameplay of Monster Hunter, like World and Rise, to me, it looks boring. Because it looks like big enemy, you roll around, you hit enemy, you hit enemy, and you hit enemy. And I know that's oversimplifying it. But, like, I don't know. Every time I see the gameplay of it, I'm like, it just looks like a bunch of people slashing at a big enemy. And I don't know, that doesn't look like fun. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma definitely shares some crossover, right? Because you can, like, jump on the enemies and attack them. I don't know. From the gameplay I've seen of Monster Hunter, I haven't seen the sauce. I don't get the... Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it looks janky and boring, but that's true. I haven't played it, so I can't actually judge it until I try it. Like, I should have tried Monster Hunter World, to be honest. I guess also, like, the lore doesn't really... I haven't really heard anything about the lore or, like, the world you're in. I've seen gameplay, but I just haven't really, like... The aesthetic doesn't do much for me. Oh, Dauntless. Yeah, I tried Dauntless. And I also got bored. But no health bars and 30-minute fights. Yeah, I would just see the gameplay and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we just be slicing that big guy for a long time and then he die. And it's like, yeah, okay. I don't know. It didn't feel like, and I am very, like, biased towards the Souls combat of, like, learning when to dodge and the parries and the build variety. And Monster Hunter seemed very focused on, it's big, you slash at big guy and roll around and you run out of stamina and then you climb on big guy. And the climbing's cool. I like that. Dragon's Dogma 1, that was like a revelation for me of jumping on enemies and, like, climbing up to their head and, like, stabbing their fucking eyes out and shit. It was cool. Yeah, I didn't really like Dauntless. Yeah, Dauntless felt like the Fortnite-ified version of it, because I didn't like the art style either. Yeah, Dauntless... Oh, God, they're still going with Dauntless? I thought that shit ended. Because I felt it was pretty generic, unfortunately. And it felt like, oh, we're just partying up to go fight a big guy for no reason other than it's a big guy. And... we get things if we kill big. I don't know. There's some part of it that just didn't click. But yeah, okay. You make a new armor set, and then you can do the same thing to the next boss. Yeah. I mean, I do like loot. Look, I like loot, but I do feel like I would like Dark Souls less if it didn't have the world and the level design and the. But I know that it's different for everybody. So some people like a really beautiful world that you go around and you kill stuff. Like, I don't know. Smacking a thing for 15 to 40 minutes, I'm out. Nah, I'm good. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2, it was a letdown for me as well. it just kind of felt like they retreaded the first game again, which I think was kind of their goal. Was like, what if we remade it and fixed some of the things, and it looks a lot better, but it plays basically the same. I think their what was it, the pawn sickness thing? I thought that was really cool, where they go insane. That I thought that was pretty sick. They had the they had the balls to do what Sekiro didn't with the dragon rot system, where you could just have people die. I was like, fuck yeah, man, that's cool. It just never clicked. Yeah, it's just smack followed by craft followed by smack. Yeah, I that was the sense I got from watching a lot of people and streamers that I like play it, and they're really into it. But I just, yeah, I couldn't quite grasp the, like, okay, it looks cool, and I get fighting is a big thing is cool, but like it didn't, I didn't detect on that. I was like, what's the story? And I'm fine if it's told in like a really disparate way, like the Dark Souls games, or just, you know, Miyazaki in general. And it seemed like it wasn't really focused on that, which is fine. It was more focused on grouping up, right? And I've always been kind of a lone wolf as far as like playing games. I'll play with like my brother, but that's generally it. I don't really like playing. I don't like playing games with like a group of like four people. I hate that. I don't. It's that's never been my jam. Yeah, exactly. It is. Yeah, I think there's people who really fuck with it, and I would never deny that it's a good game for other people, or just in general, because I don't particularly like. Wait, you can talk to the cat through the wall? I never knew this. You can talk to her through the wall. Does anyone know this? I'm sure everyone knows this, but I've never tried. I tried picking up the item, but I had already picked it up. Hilarious. This is great. FromSoft never change. Never change this jankiness. What's up, Spetsnaz? Yeah, I talked to my cat the other day. What's up, big dog? The wall speaks. All right. I gotta like screenshot this or something. This is goofy. They added a new screenshot feature in the lighting engine just recently, where it turns off all the UI rendering, which is very useful if you don't want to mess up like with your camera angle. Oh fuck! But it also turns off the talking to her. Well, fuck. I'll just save that then. Let me save that. You know what I do miss from Windows 11 is how when you do a screenshot, it would automatically pop up where you could crop it. So nice. Although it didn't always work. But when it did work, it was very nice. Expand? No, don't expand canvas. Now I have to like manually go into paint like fucking Neanderthal and then paste it. It's crazy. Oh, share X? Yeah, okay. I gotta do something like that because I went back to Windows 10. Windows 11 was pissing me off, so I was like, fuck that. Okay, I'm gonna save the screenshot. Talking to cat. Use snipping tool. Yeah, isn't the snipping tool part of Windows 11 though? Like it's automatically. Oh, you can do that in 10? Fuck, okay. Oh, is it just like an app I have to download? Oh shit. Because I know in 11 it's like default. Oh. No, you can't? The snipping tool was great, but if it didn't work, it sucked. And sometimes it wouldn't pop up. Damn. Come on, Microsoft. Put the snipping tool in Windows 10. Damn. Try, oh, Shift Windows S. Oh. Okay, Shift Windows S. Whoa. No way. Draw a shape to create a screen snip. What the fuck? Oh. Yeah, the snipping app, like when it works, it's, oh, Win Shift S. Okay, well, I never, I didn't know that. Okay, well, let me remember that. That's very nice. Thank you. Damn. Very nice. Holy shit. Because, yeah, the Windows 11 one is like, that's how it default works, but here's the problem. It doesn't always pop up. Sometimes it just doesn't pop up. And you have to then still do the other. Interesting. Just want to thank you for what you do for the community, both in mods and being ascribed to preserve Bloodborne. True. Trying when it's inevitably unobtainable to most when production ceases. Yeah, I mean, my hope is that Sony will eventually pony up and make it available to everybody on every platform. Smart fridges, smart watches, potatoes, toasters, I don't care. I want it. It works for me perfectly in Windows 11. Yeah, I have bad luck with Windows 11 then, because it will work 80% of the time. And then the other 20%, the snipping tool just doesn't pop up. And I go, aha. Also, I need to get oatmeal. I need to make some oatmeal. So if you guys want to listen to... Oh shit, I turned off all audio for Dark Souls 2. I'm sorry. Y'all have been just listening to my voice and nothing else, but that's because I turn it off when I'm modding. Oops. Sorry. It might be too loud, but I can adjust that. I'm new here. Can you summarize what is going on? I am playing Dark Souls 2 with the Dark Souls 2 lighting engine mod as a base, which rips out the entire rendering engine, and it's great. And it makes it look awesome. And then I made a mod on top of that called DS2 Surface Enhancement mod, which basically upscales all the textures, which I've already done 5 bajillion times, but this one's the best. And most crucially, it enables parallax occlusion mapping on most all surfaces in the game, which I have found a fascinating thing is that FromSoft had actually already made a lot of height maps for the surfaces, but they all went unused in the actual released game. Is voice volume only for the VoIP, or is it for dialogue as well? What? Well, I mean, I think in the DS2 settings, it's just for like when characters are speaking to you. Oh, I didn't turn up voice volume. Well, that'll be my problem. What if I all have them at like 7 or 8 out of 10? Let me know how the Majula thing is right now with my voice. Because if it's too loud, then I'll just turn down the music a little bit more. I like to do that by the in-game volume generally. Oh, is it perfect? Oh, nice. Okay, so I actually lucked out with the OBS settings in this. Oh, yeah. No, I forgot I just didn't have the volume. Because I usually stream with the sound off for me because I didn't want it to go through the mic. But now I have actual headphones I can just plug in. Have you legally changed your name to John Darksoul yet? Not yet, but that is actually a fantastic idea. I'm actually not tied to my real name at all, or I'm not married to it. I'm pretty okay just having a different name. That's like in Friends whenever he was Paul Rudd was like, I'll just be called Crap Bag. Crap, first name Crap, last name Bag. And then she was gonna be Phoebe Banana Hammock, I think. It would be cool to be John Darksoul, Captain John Darksoul. Well, I'm not a captain, so I can't say that. Anyway, I am going to open up OBS, and I'm going to put up a thing that says be back soon. Oh, I didn't mean to move that. Don't pay attention to that. I need oatmeal and coffee. Also, what time is it? Oh, it's 12:44. I've actually been streaming longer than I thought. Maybe I'll stream for 3 hours, so I'll have like 30 minutes left. Yeah, Princess Consuela Banana Hammock. There we go. That's the full name. Yep. All right, I'll be back. Oh God. Insert violent insult because no comeback. Oh man. Chat has gone all quiet, that's true. Welcome back. I agree. I got oatmeal. So I'm that kind of old person that I specifically bought the low sugar variant. Pretty crazy. I brought the low, because that's the crazy thing. You could buy the regular one and get 10 grams of sugar per packet, or you get the low sugar maple and brown sugar for 4 grams of sugar per packet, and it still tastes good. Tastes just as good. What are we doing? Honest to God, what are we doing? It's a crazy world. It's the small victories in life. That's what I think about. What's up, Beastie Boy? My cat's staring at me. He wants some of the oatmeal. He likes oatmeal, peanut butter, crackers, butter, bagels, bread. Well, basically, he's a dog. I mean, if we're being honest here, he likes everything, and he's also huge. I think he's like 25 pounds, and his name is Beast, so like he's huge. He's pretty cool too. I mean, he's basically, yeah, he really is a dog. Also, in his like demeanor, he's very nice. He's happy to see everybody. And then he wants everyone to rub his gigantic fat belly. Kind of the ideal situation. The only downside is that his voice is really fucking annoying. Or meow, I should say, not voice, but you know. It's like that sound in Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey was like, "Do you want to hear the most annoying sound ever?" But just imagine that's his meow. All of the time. It's awful. Which works in his favor, because then I just give him whatever he wants to shut him up. I'm like, please, stop. Stop meowing. Okay, also, we have like this automatic feeder that just spits out food on whatever timeline. Freaks me the fuck out every time. I hate it. I get that it's automatic, but stop scaring the shit out of me. That's not cool. We can't be doing that. It's also because it has like a metal basin that the food drops in, so it's the most echoey shit of all time. And it just scares me every time. When it visited a wrong garage. Oh, that happens with cats for sure. I get that. All the homies don't like carbon monoxide. That's what the streets are saying, at least. I trust them. Never tried it myself, but seems like a bad thing. Once saw a cat go woof outside under a street lamp. I feel like that sounds like a Disney movie. Am I wrong on that? My dog is just chilling on my bed. Nice. I have one cat on my bed, one cat staring at me feverishly for oatmeal, and then the other cat is gorging himself on the food, which I respect. So I always have a deal with my cats where I give them the bowl after I'm done with it, and then they can just eat whatever they want if they want. I'm surprised they like oatmeal, though. Really, guys? That's what we're doing? I don't judge. I own 3 cars. Man. We wish. Actually, no. I wouldn't even want to own 3 cars. Like, that's too much work. Whoop, didn't mean to click that. I guess I could go to Pirate Town, right? Oh, I should level up. I realize I haven't used my healing spell at all. Oh, because doesn't dude in Heidi's Tower of Flame? No. Or no, Miracle Lady's there, right? I need Miracle Lady. Oh, I didn't even put my resto ring on? What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Yeah, let's... Can't you see that I'm busy? Bro, can't you see that I'm busy? Oh, reinforcement. I was like, wait, what? Broadsword is so boring, though. I want to use that. I want to do something more interesting. What do you have? An S-stop? Man, the fucking dex requirements, though, are ridiculous. Probably should have leveled that up, like, at the beginning, but I kind of fucked up on that one. What about... Oh, yeah, let me go talk to the lady. Old lady. Talk to Melania. Or dementia, or... It's between the two of those. Almost had it. God damn it, I left that That's never not gonna happen. God. Fuck me, man. Also, I didn't mean to heal again. That was my bad. That's never not gonna happen. We all expect that that's gonna happen now. Yeah, I guess I could do the punching run. Is that a thing? Do we like the punching run? Yep, I definitely had left that up there for a little bit too long. What are we thinking about the... Is this the Cestus? Castus? Cestus? It's Cestus, right? Cestus? Something? Why is the character moving on its own? Big guy hasn't even shown up yet. Melentia rating? 8 out of 10. Kind of whiny, honestly. And kind of old, but kind of like a grandma. I guess I can buy this. It's fine. I just need 7 decks? Okay. I can fuck with that. It's the anti-Estus. Oh, that's true. Say Castus because I'm used to Old Latin. Well, if it's Old Latin, I feel like that's probably true. Lowly times these are... Yeah, it's like... I do love how they insult you a lot. I think games need to be more rude to the player. Because that's what Morrowind was. Like in Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, you would get insulted by people a lot. They'd be like, who the fuck are you? You're an outsider. We don't like you. We don't need you. You're an Inwa. Which I'm like, woof. I didn't know we were able to say that word, but okay. Yeah, I kind of loved how foreign that world felt. And you were not welcome. Yeah, Morrowind is all about just saying, dude, you're a bitch-ass hoe, and we do not like you. And I feel like they softened that so much going forward, where I kind of liked feeling... I don't know if that's a kinky thing or what, but... I don't know, I just thought that was cool that you weren't immediately, oh my god, you're the savior of the universe! And I really am tired of that. Really tired of, oh my god, you're the chosen one. Like, okay, alright. Can I just be a guy? Like, Morrowind, you had to work up to that. You had to, like, unite the tribes, and you had to be the Nerevarine, and there were so many things you had to do before you were the chosen one. And, like, Skyrim, I swear it took, like, an hour for them to go, oh, you're the Dragonborn, you're the whole hope of the whole galaxy. And I feel like they just gave you that immediately. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I just be a dude? And that's what I like about Dark Souls, is like, you're a guy, you're just a dude. When do we get the full DS2 NPC tier list? I gotta do tier lists, I guess, for everything. I haven't really done that. It's probably because I'm still noodling it around. Also, I think tier lists are a bit overrated, to be honest. Admittedly, they're just your opinion, but I think people take them a little too seriously. Like, oh my god, like when IGN came out with like the 100 best PlayStation games, I was just like, well, this is the dumbest list I've seen in a long time, but it's obviously just their opinion. But it's so, I think numbering things is, I don't think there's a lot of fruit to be had there, right? I mean, you are the chosen undead, but like, they say that to everybody. I guess that's my thing. Like, they say that to everybody who comes through. Hey, maybe you are the chosen undead. And then it's only once you like get the Lord Vessel that Frampt basically goes, ah, shit, I think this homie might be, he might actually be the chosen undead, oh fuck. But it's not like the game was telling you that you are, it was saying that, I guess like the NPCs were saying, you might be. I mean, DS2, same thing, where they go, are you the next king? I don't know, man. And you keep getting more souls, and they go, you might be. You might be. And then, of course, in DS2, it turns out that that's a bad job that you didn't want to apply for. So, I don't know. I think there's a little bit more nuance to that one. He tells you to commit seppuku. Yeah, of course. Get fucked. Can I level up again? Probably. Bearer of the Curse. Well, the thing is, there's plenty of Bearer of the Curse. Yeah, it's much different than in, like, in Skyrim. They were very much like, actually Oblivion has the most ridiculous, in that the start of Oblivion, in hindsight, is batshit crazy, and it doesn't make any sense. You're literally standing in a fucking cell, and the king comes through, which I love Patrick Stewart, don't get me wrong, and it does that like face suction fucking thing, where it sucks up to their face and you can stare at them, and then the king goes, hey, what's up, homie? What's going on? Yada, 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 whatever. And then you're with them for a little while. And then not like 10 minutes later, this bitch gives you the ultimate fucking amulet in the known world. The most important prized possession of all time, to a fucking jabroni they just found in a fucking cell who's not really wearing any clothes. You're telling me that's how we're gonna start it? That doesn't, come on. Like, that's the dumbest shit of all time. And I didn't even notice when I was playing it, but like in hindsight, I'm like, I tried replaying it. I'm like, oh god, what were they smoking? Yeah, they basically just go, oh my god, hey, look, you're the chosen one. It's like, well, okay. I mean, at least, and I'm so glad Morrowind did not do that. Yeah, thanks, Todd. Yeah, Morrowind was like, you were like woke up on a boat, but it wasn't immediately like, hey, you're the chosen one. You were just a guy. And you just landed, and everyone was very suspicious and didn't like you. And none of them considered you the chosen one. And hell, I don't even think they considered you the chosen one when you did unite the tribes. I don't know. Like, it was very... Oh yeah, this is about Oblivion, sorry. Or was about Oblivion. Morrowind was the one where you landed, and it was just like fucking, like, whatever. Yeah, Morrowind didn't give you, like, you were not... They did not roll out the red carpet for you. It was very much just like, I don't know, you gotta figure this shit out. You don't even know what your goal is. Other than you're supposed to get to the Casades guy. The guy who's hooked on skooma. Who had skooma under his bed. Zooted out of his fucking mind. And he gave you the quest of like other stuff. But the game was very like, do whatever the fuck you want. Try to follow journal entries. Yeah, fucking guy that never wore a shirt. He was ripped out of his mind, though. Are you kidding me? Well, if you had the Better Bodies mod. If you didn't have the Better Bodies mod, it was a little rough looking. But he was fucking jacked. He was the oldest jacked guy who was absolutely cracked. Like, cracked as in crack cocaine. Basically. I have a lot of fond memories of that game, because I remember when my brother, I already told this story at some point, but he gave me his copy of Morrowind because he said, I fucking hate this game. He's like, I'm leaving for summer camp. This game is hot ass. So if you want to try it on the original Xbox, he was like, dude, go for it. Like, it's trash to me, so you can have it. And when he came back, I had just never stopped playing it. And I had literally found every legendary item that you can find in the game, and I created a giant room of all the artifacts and things you could find, and I had done all these insane, crazy things that he was like, what? This is possible? I'm like, yeah, in this one cave, there's a fucking, there's a, what do they call it? Daedric Daikatana hiding behind a fucking rock that's the best weapon in the game. And, or you can go to the Dread Plantation, and you can go up in this shack, and that guy has a fucking Daedric super sword, but if he hits you, he one-shots you. So you can sort of fuck around with that and go out the door, come back in, hit him, go out the door, come back in, hit him. And eventually, because the hit registration was a little rough in that game, you could and have enough save files to where you could kill him and get the best weapon in the game, and then murder everyone else in the Dread Plantation, and then get glass armor, ebony armor, and you could just go absolutely insane. And if you killed the wrong person, who you didn't even know who that was, but you could just randomly kill someone, and it says, well, now you can't finish the main story. Good fucking luck. And I loved that. It was annoying, but in Oblivion, and I will never forgive them for this, but I get why they did it. They said, oh, if it's someone who's important to the story, they're just gonna pop up after you kill them. You murk them, and this bitch just stands up. I get it, but I fucking hate it. And in Morrowind, they were like, you have to live with your consequence. I mean, reload an earlier save. But commonly, I had not saved recently, which was my own fault. But like, in that game, you could just straight up murk people and you didn't know the consequences. That's great. And there's so much shit I did in that game that was not meant to be done that way and completely out of order, and I was completely fucking lost. And like, I don't know, I have such good memories of Morrowind. If I try playing it now, I don't make it very far because it was not, the combat was terrible, and there's a lot that was rough. The mic is kind of bugged out. Oh, maybe it is. It does seem like it's picking up sound. Yeah, okay, let me try to fix that real quick. Yeah, it's picking up sound it shouldn't be. Okay. I think it should be back to normal. Yeah, I think NVIDIA broadcasts, because that's the one who manages my audio, to reduce noise. But yeah, that's been happening when I was recording a video. It would cut out, and I wouldn't notice it until I was editing the video. And yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, hopefully it's better. On OBS, it looks fine. Oh, yeah. He's tweaking. You know, I still need to make my way through Fallout New Vegas. I have yet to do that. I've never finished a Fallout game because I kind of just drop off and I lose interest, unfortunately. I don't really like the world. I think that's my problem. I just don't like post-apocalyptic. It's not really my jam. Reinforce. Yes. We're gonna punch around the goddamn world. I should light this, so then he can get his ass off the Fallout New Vegas' DLCs are goated. Yeah, I mean, just in general, like, I love so many of the ideas of, like, playing Fallout New Vegas because, obviously, Josh Sawyer, huge fan of. But I think there's just something about the... I just don't like the world, if that makes sense. Here's the thing, because I really liked the Outer Worlds. So not the Outer Wilds, but the Outer Worlds from Obsidian. I really liked... and that had a Fallout style of combat, because it felt very Fallout-y. But I liked the world, and it was very funny. Also, it was more modern. Fallout New Vegas is very... Fallout New Vegas, you have to mod a lot to get it to, like, where I would want to... I don't know, I didn't like the gameplay. I was like, eh. And I'll admit the story never hooked me either, but I never got that far because I just would kind of dip out. Fallout 3 I played a lot more of. And here's the funny thing, I stopped in that game when I randomly fell into one of the DLCs where you're abducted by aliens. And I went, oh, I don't like this. And because it takes away all your weapons and, like, I mean, it was definitely a shock. And then Fallout 4 was very generic feeling. Which I've heard that complaint from plenty of, like, people. That, like, Fallout 4, I don't know, it just feels, like, really sanded down and blah-fied. If that makes sense. That's not a word, but it's getting this kind of... Yeah, I was wondering if they were gonna move it into, yeah, Fallout 4. That'd be cool. Because I think graphically Fallout 4, I think, looks pretty good. Now, unfortunately, their little, whatever fucking new version of Fallout they came out with, Fallout 4, like, didn't seem to do much. And if anything, it just broke all the mods. So, I kind of thought that was stupid. I was like, okay, fuck you too. Like, sure, alright. And it just didn't seem like there was much benefit. It seemed like console people benefited by getting a more feature-rich option. But that's about it. Okay, let's open up that. Let's check this. I have the albedo. Oh, roughness. I didn't need to have the roughness on. Whoops. Albedo 2. Normal map. Okay, which one is the normal map I want? That's the real question. I'm checking this grass real quick. I'm checking to see if it has... I want to look at the normal map real quick. Because I think this is one that I skipped doing parallax for, because it was just grass, so I was like, eh. No, I don't think it's that one. Okay, what if it's normal map 2? 146. 146, 268. Okay, I'm going to open up Photoshop. You will not be able to see Photoshop, so all of my work will not be shown, which I'm fine with. Yeah, okay, that one already has a... Who does? Oh, shit. Okay. Nice. Okay, we're back. Okay, so I think I can just punch my way through, and then I can heal in my left hand. Oh, he's gonna attack the barrel. He's gonna... Boom, bitch. Oh. Okay, it's not the most satisfying punch, I have to admit. This is a little... I am literally just gonna fight around the world here. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This guy's also he randomly has pyromancy. Okay, now. Oh, you got staggered on that one, bitch. Whoa. Okay, works pretty well. I stand corrected. Well, I'm heading out, got exam tomorrow, and I haven't studied shit. That is exactly how it went for me. And I ended up never studying. Don't recommend it. Highly recommend people actually study for things. I was a jerk ass, and I just, I was like, I can freeball it, it's fine. And I usually would get like a 7 out of, or 70%. I'd get like a C. Still don't recommend it, not a great idea. But good luck. Good luck on the exam. I'm sure you'll crush it. Oh, let's face these bitch asses. What if I... Okay, what if I parry with my left hand? What about this? Got him! Okay, well... That's so cool. I get to do a super punch? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Okay, turns out the punching, kind of fun. Kind of fun, gotta say. Also, his weapon's fucking flying around. This is hilarious. Dude, I get to shove my hand right up his ass. 10 out of 10 game. Oh, I still have an Estus shard? Fuck. Oh, yeah, I forgot I can go over here. Yeesh. I should go to Pirate Town. I gotta go to Pirate Town. Oh, actually, I said I would stop streaming. I said I would stop streaming around like the 2-hour mark. That's true. I did say that. No ragdoll, not really. They stop it pretty quick. Oh wow, there's no one I follow who's streaming? Get out. Well, there you go. Well, that makes it a lot easier. Let me go back to Majula. Yeah, ragdoll, yeah, they basically kind of took that out. Like, there's still physics, but I think it was for performance reasons. They were like, okay, well, we got to cut that down. We can't be using up processor time on ragdolls, so they just cut most of it. Which is a real shame. I've looked at the params, never figured out how to turn it back on. Or at least have it be similar to Demon Souls, DS1, DS3. It's just not happening. So anywho, thank you for watching the stream. This was just really us hanging out, and I'm disassociating and playing Dark Souls 2, which for me is like breathing, essentially. So I don't really have to think. Glad I caught you at the tail end. I'm super excited to return to my favorite Souls game now that I've discovered your channel. Hell yeah. I've never modded any Souls game. Well, luckily there's a first time for everything. I appreciate you. And, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever stop modding it. I love Dark Souls 2. I mean, I gotta get back to Dark Souls 1 modding at some point. There are bugs I have to squash in my remastered mod. And then Dark Souls 3 is kind of like, eh. I don't know, it's my least interested to mod, to be honest. Yeah, modding textures, easiest and fun. Absolutely agree. Textures is a good, like, entry point into modding them, but even if you just mean, like, applying mods to games, that, like, not making them, but yeah, that makes, you know, total sense. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm going to end stream now, and we'll see if it actually ends correctly, because I think the last time it just randomly kept the stream going. Even though I told it to stop and close the app, it just was like, nah, we'll keep going for a while. They're hanging out. They want to vibe, you know? But anyway, I'll see you next time. In the form of a video. Oh my god, look at this texture, by the way. I never upgraded this texture. Actually, let's end it on upscaling this texture, because, oh my god, I guess I forgot this area. Hold on. Let me upscale this texture. Okay, yeah, I didn't do any of these. Okay. Ooh, this one has parallax occlusion mapping already built into it. Okay, hold on, chat. This is going to be cool. Okay, it may not be as cool as I'm making it sound. But, okay, I'm loading up Photo AI. Topaz Labs, which I have a link in the description. I think if you want to buy something from them, I make a good amount of money from it. It's pretty sick. Oh, I already had it open. Whoops. Mobby. Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. Sick. Okay, it's going from 1K to 2K resolution. Enemy of stream. Tree! I saw a tree. I'm sorry. I saw a tree that was not upscaled, and I didn't want to forget it. So let's knock it out right now. It takes 2 seconds. Okay, I'm saving the new texture as a DDS texture. And it's already high resolution. You'll love to see it. Now we create shader params, which we have to initially do it for the albedo, even though we're not actually doing anything with that. And then you can actually see the parallax turned on, which we love to see. And we hit save the shader params file. And now we have parallax occlusion mapping that is working on the tree to create some depth. And we have a high resolution texture. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Wait, why were you playing DS2 again? Oh, I just love Dark Souls 2. Yeah, I would just play it for fun, to be honest with you. But NPC/enemies can enter it. Yeah, the ragdolling system is just very compromised. Oop, there's another texture I gotta upscale. Hold on, guys. There's this one. Okay, so pay attention to this texture. This is what it looks like now. Just keep that in your mind's eye. Ooh, this one has parallax as well, already built into it, but it wasn't used. Sneaky FromSoft making height maps, but not using them because performance reasons, presumably. Sick. God, I love when I see. This is gonna be for it. These are the last two. These last two. You know, when I see it, I gotta do it. It's good for my brain. Okay, so texture is now upscaled. So look at that. Sharp, sharp, sharper. And then you see all these little letters and whatever. This is where they centered the parallax on. So let's do that. Turn that back. And then let's hit shader params. And then we'll actually fly around. And now there's a little bit of depth that's actually in these little crevices, and all the little letters now have a little bit of depth. And now you can see there's like kind of a bumpiness on the overall surface. That is the power of parallax occlusion mapping, and I love it. And FromSoft had done a lot of them, but they just didn't enable it because of probably performance. And it wasn't worth doing the parallax, but they kept it on like the Iron Keep walls. And then there's like one wall in Huntsman's Copse that uses it. Those were kind of the ones they focused on, and that was it. What does Neil do? Oh yeah, I forgot about. You know, I've never signed up to this covenant, but I know you can, and apparently it sucks ass. But oh yeah, I got to do the leaves too, but I'll do those later. Those are not interesting because it's just an albedo texture. But yeah, look at that. We made a little improvement. Very nice. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you for the support and the love and the hugs and the high fives, and also to my haters, shout out. I never see your comments, but I'm sure you're there. Oh, it stops things from despawning? Yeah, I know it makes the game like, that's pretty cool. I don't need the things that despawn anymore. I'm built different. I only had to do the despawning in like my first 2 playthroughs. And then after that, I was like, I'm too good. I'm too good. What are you doing to make my beloved DS2 more beautiful? Well, using DS2 lighting engine as a base, I am then using the tools here where you can fly around and see the world. And basically, I'm going through every single surface in the game and checking the albedo map, the specular, the normal map, and then what I'm doing is enabling the parallax occlusion mapping that FromSoft basically had set up on a lot of surfaces, but they didn't end up using at all, other than like 2 surfaces. So basically, we just went through and upscaled this portion in Majula. Yeah, this is part of DS2 lighting engine where you can fly around and you can select things. It's pretty cool. And you can select the surface, and so I upscaled the texture and then enable the height map that is stored inside the normal map. And then if it's not stored in there, I make a new one myself and then shove it in there. So basically the goal, and actually the mod is already all the way up to I just finished the Shulva DLC, and that's live on Nexus Mods right now. So you'll run through the world, you're going to see a shitload of parallax occlusion mapping everywhere. So just more depth on pebbles and rocks and walls and everything, basically. And it's just going to be a world that looks more geometrically dense, and the textures are better as well while you're there. And yeah, and I've also done like 5 other DS2 mods, but this is my most recent one that I've been having a lot of fun with in between working on Bloodborne. Bloodborne is still the focus, but I've been having fun. This is like my break, because I get to play DS2, which I love, and I get to spend my time in the world, which I love. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll stream some other time. Maybe I'll announce it earlier rather than just going live, but I'm always hesitant to like make a schedule, because then I'm like, what if I feel shitty on that day? And that's the whole thing. So I should probably do a schedule so people actually know when to tune in. What a wild idea. What a novel thought. No one's ever thought about that before. It's crazy. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.